15 seconds.
Good.
All 15 when they were going behind, coming down through the heat shield, waiting for them to make contact.
Okay, seeing that it's 5 o'clock, we'll call the special meeting of August 4th to order.
And this is the closed session, special meeting of August 4th, 5 o'clock PM. Two items on the agenda for closed session. One is real property negotiations, and it's APR. There is no APR. Property is the potential lease of city right-of-way located between 242 Avenida Del Mar and 218 Avenida Del Mar for the farmers market. City negotiators, Andy Hall, city manager, Brian Brower, assistant city manager, Samantha Wiley, Beaches Parks and Recreation director, negotiating parties, introduction unlimited, under negotiations, price and terms for potential lease for the farmers market.
Okay, for the record, all members of the council are present except for Council Member Cabral. Do I have a motion?
So move to go into closed session.
By Mayor Pro Tem Noblock.
Second.
Second by Council Member Emmeyer. All in favor? Aye. All right, being that it's 5:30, we'll call the regular city council meeting of August 4th to order. Madam Clerk?
Yes, beginning with the invocation, and we will note that all council members are present. Beginning with the invocation, Senior Pastor Holland Davis, Calvary Chapel, San Clemente.
All right, thank you. Let's all pray. Lord, your word says, trust in the Lord and do good, dwell in the land and feed on his faithfulness. Delight yourself also in the Lord, and he shall give you the desires of your heart. And I want to thank you for this beautiful place that we live in, that we do business in, that we worship you in, that we love each other in. I want to thank you for each of these city council members that give up their time and sacrifice time away from family to do all the different functions that they're required to do, Lord, in service of the city. And I thank you for the gift that they are to us. I pray that you would bless them tonight. I ask that you would give them wisdom and understanding, that you would bless their families, protect them. Let your hand be upon them in Jesus' name. Amen.
I'm going to talk my outside voice. I have my daughter, son-in-law, and 2 grandkids here from Texas, out of town. I'd like to bring up my grandson and granddaughter if they want to come up here to lead us in the pledge. They're very shy. They just won't. Yeah. My grandson Locke Jones and my daughter Juniper Jones. All right, Locke, you want to lead us in the pledge? Oh, he's coming all the way up. We're not going to swear you in. We're just.
I'll come all the way up.
Yeah, keep on coming for sure. Here, take this. There's a microphone right there.
Someone else come.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic of which it stands, one nation, under God and indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Nice job, Locke.
Okay, again, noting that all council members are present. First item on the agenda is special presentations. This is recognition of city maintenance staff and the city's maintenance crews for their exceptional dedication, flexibility, and extra efforts in preparing for and supporting the city's summer events, ensuring safe, welcoming, and successful experiences for the community in which we serve. And here to accept that award is Brian Fields, and we've got Ricardo is also here. Thank you. I can't see that far. Ricardo and Brian Fields are here to accept the awards on behalf of the entire maintenance team.
Let's go on down there. I wasn't sure anybody was going to show up. Brian. Good job. After the 4th of July, I thought you'd quit. So, real quick, we got certificates for all the maintenance staff, and it was incredible after the 4th of July, the night of the 4th of July, walking up from the pier, there was crap everywhere. All the cans were filled, there was stuff on the lawn, and I remember going thinking, who is going to clean this up? Well, by 6 o'clock on the 5th, it looked like it had never happened. It was just incredible. These guys, what time did you start on the 5th?
On the 5th?
Yeah.
About 4:30.
4:30 in the morning, and just cleaned up everything. It was unbelievable. So, and I think, how many people are on your crew?
17 or so. Well, there was about 17 of us,
17 out there cleaning
plus
up.
all our contractors.
All right, awesome. So you want to say a little bit about the maintenance department in general and kind of what you guys do?
We're the guys that you don't usually see. We're out early in the morning trying to keep everything running and operating efficiently. And it's really not me. It's these guys. It's the team. I'm more of the, hey, go here, go there. But they're always ready, always responsive. The crew that works for 4th of July is all volunteers. We don't require anybody to work. Yes, they get paid, but they're still volunteering to work and give up time with their families to come in and make sure that everything goes smooth. So I really appreciate all of them because I couldn't do it without them.
Well, we just talked about like the 4th and 5th of July, but this is, 365 days a year. We have an older town and it still always looks phenomenal and our park looks so good. And Brian Fields is in charge of the fields. It's one of the things that, that under his purview that he does. And these guys just do such a fantastic job. So let's give them another big round of applause. And let's stick around. Let's take a photo.
Thank you. And the pier looked great on 4th of July. I love the bunting on the 1st.
That's Samantha's design.
It looks great. You don't, the pier did.
Thanks again, Brian.
Okay, next item on the agenda is council member reports.
Okay, who wants to kick it off?
I'll kick it off, and I'm hopefully just going to set the precedent here of going quickly, because I know it's been 6 weeks since our last time. So I'll list through everything as fast as I can, not spend too much time on any one item. The SOCEC board installation. I had the City of San Clemente, a meeting with City of San Clemente and Presbyterian Church to discuss parking. Went to the Santoy installation, and then there's a follow-up meeting as well to discuss putting in more Santoy installations. There's one at the pier right now, and then putting in a couple others either at T Street or at North Beach, or both. I went to the 4th Annual Housing Symposium Forum, led by Governor Gray Davis, former Governor Gray Davis. I went to the Miramar Food Hall ribbon cutting, the James Kelly Band and the Sega Genocide Concert, the Junior Guards Award Ceremony, Ocean Festival, Cal City CSAC Coastal Act 101 meeting discussing everything about the Coastal Act with coastal cities throughout California, the Cal Cities Coastal Cities Group Leadership Meeting, the OCTA Long Range Transportation Plan with the Elected Officials Roundtable. I had a meeting with the mayor and our chief on e-bike safety, and had the Coastal Animal Shelter JPA meeting yesterday as well.
Awesome, thank you. Zen?
Thank you, Mayor. I have 2 minutes timer here, so I'm going to start. June 18, to the San Onofre Nuclear Generation Station. Also on 18th, attended Orange County Mosquito and Vector Control District Board meeting. On July 1st, attended the Miramar Food Hall opening ceremony. July 2nd, attended the Southern California Association of Governments Transportation Committee meeting. July 4th, attended a firework on the pier. 9th, dropping visit at the South Orange County Economic Coalition for its border installation. On July 20th, attended the anniversary of the first moon landing at the Sevilla Assisted Living Facility. July 29th, attended OCTA's 405 Express Lane tour. July 30th, attended the Long Range Transportation Plan Elected Officials Roundtable at our County Transportation Commission, that's the OCTA. I have 1 more minute. So, also, I'd like to report that I was appointed to serve on SCAG's Connect so-called 2050 subcommittee. For the next 2 years, the subcommittee will be working on the Connect so-called 2050 Regional Transportation Plan and the Sustainable Communities Strategy. Built on top of Connect so-called 2024, the Connect so-called 2050 document will represent the vision for Southern California's future, including policies, strategies, and projects to advance the region's mobility, economy, and sustainability through 2050. This plan will detail how the region will address its transportation and land use challenges and opportunities to meet its regional emission standards and greenhouse gas reduction targets to be updated every 4 years. This document will also require to qualify for all federal and state funding for regionally significant and surface transportation projects. Thank you.
Thank you. Victor?
Yeah, I have a lot of stuff, and I'm going to try and do it in 2 minutes, but I probably can't. Just a ton of meetings with people about stop signs, traffic flow, flowers, bushes that infringe, just meetings with residents. I've had, I think since our last meeting, I've had 3 Orange County Fire Authority meetings, different commissions, different parts of the Orange County Fire Authority. One on June 25th, one on June 15th, one today for a couple of hours, going over personnel issues and other fire issues throughout Orange County. We had golf course committee meetings discussing the bids on reforming and refreshing and restoring our golf course. In the midst of that, I was able to attend a World Cup game in New York on my own. Just as a side note, attended the Ocean Festival, where you observed the jet skis, which we talked about, and I think they were phenomenal. And I think what we did as a city council opened up things for future jet skis. I know Andy was a judge the sandcastles. What was left of them by the time 3 o'clock ran around, but it was a great event. The concerts, the surf, attended a couple of the concerts on the beaches. We've had a couple of walkthroughs with Love San Clemente. As you know, Love San Clemente has a work project. The next one's, I think, September 12th. The last event that we put together, we had almost 1,400 people work on on projects, mostly at the schools, but this time around, we're doing work projects for the city. So we've walked the trails, we've gone to the pickleball courts, we've seen a lot of the sites in the cities where we're going to put together hopefully 1,000 volunteers in this city to come in and beautify the city, and that's we've tied that to the September 11th day of work. Had meetings with Little League about their batting cages, about their fields, about keeping our partnership. Had meetings with the Downtown Business Association about the upcoming car show and how that's going to progress. I think things are going well. Attended the Seville where Zenwu and I talked to the seniors about the moon landing on July 20th. This past weekend, I was at North Beach, talked to the North Beach HOA director about the changes that this city council has made there in North Beach. And I was there in the evening at the Miramar, and the Miramar was packed, just absolutely packed. So I walked down to the beach, and the beach was packed too. There was bonfires on everything, and the beach was full of people at 7, 8 o'clock at night. So what this city council has been able to do to North Beach, to restore it, to revitalize it, I think this city council should take a lot of that credit, because talking to the North Beach Homeowners Association president, he says, I feel like it's a new North Beach, and I think this city council deserves some credit for that. We've had about 3 songs meetings since the last time. Our next quarterly meeting is next week. We've made significant progress of moving the stored nuclear fuel out of San Clemente. Working with the Department of Energy, they came and testified last time. We've made big progress, and I think in our next meeting, we're going to hear great news about a couple of sites. Hopefully by that time, there's 2 or 3 sites, and I actually hope to visit one of them in Utah, where we are actually moving a lot of the decommissioned waste, not the waste, but the facility that we're packaging to that site. And they have an interest in storing nuclear fuel. So I'm optimistic that there is a time in our lifetime where that fuel will be moved. We had the 100th anniversary of the Casa Pacifica, which I was honored to attend. The Casa Pacific, the Western White House, as it's known, is a gorgeous landmark here in San Clemente. It's beautiful. If you haven't got a chance to visit, if you ever do get a chance, go and visit it. We had 2 Cal Cities meetings to review legislation. Every month we review all the legislation that concerns the cities. Piece by piece, we go through it. A couple of pieces of the legislation of note are the state's passed no piggyback on e-bikes legislation. There's other pieces of legislation and other discussions going on about TikTok and the influence of TikTok in overwhelming cities. We talked about lithium batteries. As you know, our landfill near San Clemente here is storing, or people are dumping lithium battery by the tons. And I've raised that concern. There's been legislation introduced to keep vapes out of all the landfills in California, but we need to do more than just keep vapes, because the biggest things are people throw phones, they throw old computers. They're supposed to not do that, but they do. And so I think the state's looking at ways to address that. I'm sorry I'm taking so much time, but I think the most important thing that happened this weekend, and I sent a letter today to Kate Hucklebridge about what happened this weekend in our community. And I want to, if we can show on the photo there, this is the beaches now. This is what OCTA is doing to our beaches. They are laying revetment. We got a notice last week that I think it was on 5 o'clock on Friday, or that they were going to start laying revetment the next week. The revetment's the rock. This is what our city will look like from end to end if we don't start addressing what OCTA is doing to dump rock in our beaches. We will not have a beach anywhere in San Clemente, and that includes the pier area all the way down to North Beach. I know people have talked about, well, no, that, you know, it's not going to happen. This is the alternative to protecting our sand, and we need to start thinking strategically about how we protect our beaches other than laying the revetment there. I wrote a letter outlining our interest as a city, or my interest, I should say, I can't speak for the city, in letting us, who have, as a city, been the leaders. And I give credit to everybody here on this dais. San Clemente has taken the lead in putting sand on our beaches. And even though OCTA gets some money, I think we should be the lead agency, or at least start the discussion. I wrote to Kate, as I said, at the Coastal Commission, saying, let's start talking about this and how we address the remediation for all the rocks that are dumped here. And I know we've all shared this view, so I don't want to take the credit for it, but it's something we need to take seriously in the future. How do we keep this a beach community? That's it.
No, thank you.
Well,
Steve?
Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Well, that picture's still up. If you notice in the lower right-hand side there, that's the Western White House, Casa Pacifica, which we used to see President Nixon walking on that beach there, which is now non-existent. So hopefully we can accomplish some of those things, Victor. Thank you. A couple of things since our last meeting. I attended a number of ribbon cuttings for the chamber. Last week, I attended the White House Rose Garden ceremony for the LA Dodgers. And while I was there, I had an opportunity to visit with someone from the White House Office of Intergovernmental Affairs to discuss the progress on the camera that will keep the Mexican pongas from landing on our beaches. I also met with the President's #2 Director of the Faith Office, and I was asked to invite 10 to 15 of our local pastors in South Orange County to join the quarterly White House briefing there. That meeting at the White House, by the way, was on my own nickel, not city expense. As several of my colleagues, I attended also the food court opening, the Songs decommissioning tour with Councilman Zen Wu. I met with a number of constituents on issues involving zoning, safety, and so forth. Attended a number of meetings from the San Clemente Times chat. Also, I attended the 100-year anniversary of the Casa Pacifica, which was a phenomenal event. I also attended several of the outdoor amphitheaters that we have that we want to expand as a city, the one that's currently existing at Forester Ranch and the potential one, which will be on our agenda this evening, by the way. So I toured those sites. And I just want to wrap up by saying I've been invited to drive a demolition derby car in the Orange County Fair tomorrow evening, where to celebrate the Surf Olympics in 2028, I was allowed to put a foam surfboard and a plastic mannequin surfer on top. So I may get first in show, but I'll probably be a target for the drivers. So I'll be doing that tomorrow evening, and that concludes my remarks, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Steve. And Captain Malat, you want to start heading up here? So you put up the slide. Tons of things going on, so I put a very brief thing on there. If anybody wants to ever read it, that's fine. Also, what I really wanted to talk about, and one of the reasons I think we're wearing Hawaiian shirts, is I want to remind everybody that Saturday is the 3rd anniversary of the devastating fires in Lahaina. And I have some interest there, so I got to spend a couple of weeks here. I just got back last weekend, and it's phenomenal, what a difference it looks like in 3 years. 25% of the houses are either done or in process of being done, and many more are being built. The Front Street, which is the kind of the business area of Lahaina, which burned to the ground. Finally, there is 3 businesses that actually have put in permits, Chemo's being one of them and Fleetwood's being another. So hopefully, it takes a long time because they have to have an archaeological survey done on every property before they can build. And there aren't that many archaeologists that are qualified to do that. So there's a waiting list. But I think in the next year or so, it's really going to be incredible. Also, they had the first public event in Lahaina on July the 18th, where they actually put in a stage and some food trucks and brought the community back in for the first time. And Alaskan Airlines flew in 100 people who lost their homes in the fire and have been transplanted all over the country and brought them back. Incredible event. And on August 1st, they actually opened up Front Street to drive all the way down Front Street from the far north end of Haleopiilani Highway all the way to the banyan tree. And it's seeing the community come together is really awesome. Things can get, just like the Palisades fire, I mean, things can be devastating, yet we have strong community. With that, I want to turn this over now to our Captain of Marine Safety, Rob Malat, who's had a really, really busy summer so far. I think you know with the weather and the surf we've had, I wanted to have him just give us a quick recap of what's been going on.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and council members. Rod Malat, Lifeguard Chief for the Marine Safety. Laura will be good. Do I get 2 more minutes?
No, you take your time.
Laura's really good about getting the hook because I love talking about lifeguarding. Yeah, no, summer since Memorial Weekend has just been banging. As we know, at the beginning of June, we had 9 to 12 foot surf. Took out a piling and 16 braces. And there's been no shortage of swell throughout the entire summer. Actually, the last few days, it's 1 foot, so it's been nice to give the guards a break. Water temperature right now is 78 degrees. We've had the heat advisories, you know, all the red flag warnings and whatnot. But I want to commend our command staff and our hourly part-time lifeguards out in the field, because they're the ones, the backbone that are doing the work out there. Applaud them for the work they are doing. I'm going to give you a perspective from Memorial to August 3rd, some stats in comparison at the same time period from 2026 to 2025. Right now, as of Memorial to August 3rd, there's been 1,615 rescues. Last year at that same time period was 690. For preventative actions, there's almost 31,000 preventative actions. Last year was 8,648. Public education contacts, 37,276. Last year at this time was 18,000. Medical aids, 594. Last year, 620. Law enforcement contacts, 11,894. Last year, 7,184. Most of these totals from in the last 10 weeks exceed the entire year of last year. Rescues, prevents, public eds, and law enforcement. So hats off to the crew that's been put to the test. We have 18 new rookies, and they've all been shining. Everyone's done. There's been some heavy rescues, and I'm proud to say there's been 0 drownings for summer. Just knock on wood. We're almost to the home stretch here. As far as July 4th, it was a big hit. Samantha did a great job organizing that, and the maintenance staff doing all the things behind the scenes. The lifeguards were out in force. We have 61 lifeguards, including full-time. 58 of us were working that day, long hours, you know. They made 87 rescues. We had, you know, the normal party group down at Lost Winds, 2,500 people down there. But by 3:30, they were gone. I had a friend that lives on the bluff taking pictures, and at 3:30, I think they all went to Newport. Our junior lifeguard program, we ran 4 successful sessions. We just finished July 31st. We had 600 kids participate in the program this summer. It was a huge hit, and it's always great to see the kids get the confidence to go in the water and learn about lifeguarding skills, how to stay safe at the beach and in the ocean, learning how to surf, bodyboard, and whatnot, and first aid skills. So that was a huge success. And Ocean Festival, another huge success operationally for us. And as Councilmember Cabral mentioned, the jet ski was a huge hit for the crowds. So hats off to Dante doing a great job. And I'm sure there'll be more of that to come in the future. If you guys have not been down at the beach, I encourage you to go down there. I got smiles from ear to ear. If you look out in front of headquarters, there's 103 feet from the building to the berm. We're starting to look like Newport and Huntington. I know it's different down south, as Councilmember Cabral was saying, but you look north of the pier, south of the pier, the beach is healthy. So what was done in the winter of 2023 and 24 with the sand replenishment, it's in the cell, it's working. It's working, it's coming back, and it's feeding our beaches right now. So great job for council members, city management, and thank you for the support. Thanks.
Thank you, Rod. And by the way, Chief Chevalier and Chief Mall, be prepared in 2 weeks for your updates.
I have one question. One quick question. I was at North Beach, and I was talking to the head lifeguard there, and he said our newest lifeguard, the young woman who was #1 in the class, had a save that week. I don't know if you know about it or.
I can tell you, you guys might have got the email just last week. A grandfather came to the door and was very emotional. He brought his grandkids down to the water there at Linda Lane, and his 12-year-old granddaughter was out in the water, and her head was going down, and he said he was helpless. There was nothing he could do. He couldn't go in the water. He was waving, he was yelling at her, and all of a sudden, a female lifeguard came. So he wanted to give thanks to that lifeguard. That lifeguard is Riley Bailey. He wrote a nice email, and it was shared with her. And Andy Bailey works for OCFA. He's a battalion chief. So they're a great waterman family. But I think you were talking about Hazel Thrash. They're all doing a great job. They're all doing a great job. So Riley right now has 101 rescues for the 10 weeks that she's been working there.
I just think we got to recognize these individual efforts a little bit more, because they're out there on the front line every single day doing the important work, saving lives.
Yeah, and other than the last couple of days, just 1 foot surf. It's all summer long. It's been a wave machine, and just like. Unfortunately, Laguna had a drowning yesterday up at Crescent Bay, a 24-year-old. So it happens even in small water. Small surf. So
You train them well. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate you. All right.
Next item on the agenda is oral communications.
Okay, let me jump in here real quick, because this is the first meeting. I don't know if everybody knows, but as of July 1st in California, at any public meeting, we have to give the opportunity, if people want to Zoom in public comments, they can. So our staff has been working really hard on trying to make that system work. We'll see how it goes, fingers crossed. So here's how it's going to go. We're going to take all of the cards from people that are present. We're going to take their comments first. And once those comments are closed, then we will go to the video comments. Once the comments are closed on the blue cards, though, you can't come up and run up and bring another card while we're doing the Zoom call. So it can't be, oh, now I want to answer that. So once we've taken all of the public comments that we have in person, we're going to stop those, and then we're going to move on to if we have Zoom calls. Is that kind of clear? We'll just all try to work our way through this as we go. So with that, how many cards do we have for?
We have 7 cards and we have 1 speaker on Zoom.
Perfect.
8 public comments.
Awesome. Now we've got 9. So, okay, so let's go ahead and call our first few speakers.
Okay. Lois McNichol, followed by Rima Nashibibi, and Anika Gambina. So let's go with those 3 first. Lois? There's Lois. And Lois has a presentation.
Yes. This is the latest attempt to convert the hard-earned income of taxpayers into revenue for government use, AKA the San Clemente Natural Hazards Protection and Resilience Act of 2026. Confused? That's right. No mention of sand replenishment or fire prevention in the title of the ballot measure, thanks to our city attorney. And what do I mean by the latest attempt? In 2024, the Beach Protection Restoration Clean Ocean measure was defeated. That would have increased sales tax by 0.5% with no end date. And both the 2024 and 2026 tax have been sold as sand replenishment. But this is a half-truth for 2026. Fire prevention has replaced clean water, and there are 2 restricted funds instead of 1. But how will the city of San Clemente prevent fires? Not clearly laid out in the ballot measure. And why haven't previous city councils and the current one recognized this important issue of fire prevention sooner? Has ACFA been dropping the ball on this? I guess it was handled the same way as beach erosion. Have insurance companies been consulted on whether this measure would have any impact at all on the cost or availability of insurance? They should be invited to speak at a city council meeting. But most importantly, shouldn't we leave this fire prevention to the experts? Neither the city council nor its staff are trained in this area. Arguments for this measure are laughable. There have been devastating wildfires across California, but this is a San Clemente tax. And how many horrific wildfires have there been in this city? Thus, invalid point. And why has the vegetation in our open spaces become so overgrown as to present a fire hazard? Are we paying too much attention to little blue cards? And has our local government not been living up to their obligations of public security by taking action to reduce fire hazards in San Clemente? And if not, why not? Dredging will extend beyond the 10-year period into the lives of your great-grandchildren. This process harms ecosystems and uses dirt instead of sand. Sand Savers offers a permanent solution that is eco-friendly and cost-effective. Using the $10 million annual cost of dredging, San Clemente could restore our beaches along the entire 4.6 miles of beach with Sand Savers and have it paid for in 6 years. The residents of San Clemente have been gaslit by Cameron Cosgrove to believe that if they don't vote for this initiative, that they don't love San Clemente. That is not true. The tax is only necessary because of a mismanagement of funds.
Thank you, Lois.
Rima, followed by Anika Gambina, followed by Robert Allen.
Mayor Pro Tem, council members, and staff. My name is Rima Shashibi. I'm a commissioner on the Orange County Commission on the Status of Women and Girls. I'm also founder and president of a nonprofit called Global Hope 365. I've brought in our inaugural report from the commission about the status of women and girls in Orange County. Included in it is a data highlight. I'll just go through some of them. And it compares Orange County women and girls to California women and girls. So Orange County women make $3,492 more on average than California women. 4% of OC women are unemployed compared to 5.5% of California women. 87% of OC men's wages are earned by OC women, and 88% of CA, California men's wages, are earned by California women. 44% of Orange County women have at least a bachelor's degree, compared to 39% of California women, and 82% of Orange County girls enroll in college within 12 months of graduation, compared to 74.4% of boys. In addition, as far as mental health, 18.6% of Orange County women reported ever having thoughts of committing suicide, compared to, which is less than 2023. And as far as memory loss, anxiety, and depression are the top 3 reported behavioral health concerns of OC women's over 55%. And although trending down in the past year, Orange County girls report higher chronic sadness and suicide ideation compared to boys. Child and dependent care, 13,000 to 24,000 is the yearly average child care cost in Orange County. This equates to 24% of an OC women's average income. As far as violence and domestic abuse, 4,524 weapon-related domestic abuse cases in Orange County, which has more than doubled since 2015. And 9% of unhoused OC women are victims of domestic abuse, which has increased since 2019. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Rima, and thank you for the literature.
Anika Gambina, followed by Robert Allen, followed by Joe Wilson.
Mr. Mayor, City Council members, it's Annika Gambina. Sorry, I tried to put a little phonetic spelling there. Mr. Mayor, you know me. I live in the Pier Bowl. We've spoken before. I'm very fortunate to live there. I also own a business, so I understand why the city markets this stretch of coastline to people. It's beautiful. I literally hear the gasps when people come down Santa Barbara and see the beautiful vistas. So I do understand the tourism, bringing people here, marketing the city of San Clemente. It brings important revenue into our local businesses. I have all the empathy and respect for people running small businesses these days. And I feel like, especially over the 4th of July holiday, I don't know if it's been intentional, but this year it seemed like we had way more visitors here. So I don't know if that was a result of increased tourism marketing, social media. But this year, that tourism marketing, whether it be intentional or viral, collided with a policing gap. And while we've seen this before, this year my family paid for it directly. On July 4th, the water balloon throwing near the pier escalated well past a fun game. It became harassment and a public safety concern. Coming down Santa Barbara, mothers with infants in baby carriers on their chest, fathers pulling toddlers in wagons, elderly people with canes and other walking implements. Nobody was spared from not just water balloons, which are a nuisance but not dangerous in and of themselves, but half-frozen water balloons are being thrown. I did hear one elderly couple out loud verbalize that they were afraid to walk up the street. Numerous neighbors called the police before anybody was hurt to alert them to this, specifically to flag that this fun game had crossed a line. And we were told, and I quote, "Call back when a crime is committed." Well, a crime was committed. My oldest daughter's windshield was shattered. $1,200 worth of damage on the first car she's ever bought herself while still paying off her graduate school student loans and saving for her wedding. In addition, because it shattered her entire windshield, she could not see and was terrified, pulled over, and thankfully didn't hit anybody walking up the street in the process. She got out of the car. She's a very gentle soul. She is a PA in a labor and delivery ED in San Bernardino, has the patience of Job. Simply asked who threw the balloon, and then was assaulted with half-frozen water balloons in her face when she confronted the offender. When we finally got an officer to take a report, they couldn't even get up Santa Barbara, and they had to leave mid-report to break up a fight.
Okay. Thank you, Annika. And for the public, we did have a meeting with the chief over this, and he's going to work on having a much better strategy for next year. You know, it's not a city-sanctioned event, but it's still public safety is certainly one of our priorities. And I know, Chief, we've discussed this, and I think we have some ideas.
It's not fair to the police, and it's not fair to the residents.
Annika, you're 100% right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Robert Allen, followed by Joe Wilson, followed by Larry Culbertson.
Yes, good evening, Mr. Mayor and City Council members. I'm Robert Allen. I'm also a resident of the Pier Bowl area. Our family's lived here for about 30 years now, and this year, for the first time, I'm here to ask for some help. On July 4th, roughly between 8 a.m. and 10 p.m., two streets near the Pier Bowl, Avenida Santa Barbara and Acebo Lane, became absolutely unsafe to pedestrians. It was completely out of control. Cyclists, golf carts, and cars. Residents at one of the facilities, the houses, threw partially broken water balloons, chipped our daughter's car with her infant and children in it. They were obviously stunned by this. One comment made by the people at the Santa Barbara facility was, "How old do you have to be to stop throwing balloons at them?" And the answer we heard was there was no age restrictions. On Acebo Lane, cars driving past sustained cracked and shattered windshields as well as dents. Our daughter's car was damaged, as I'd already said. At 10 o'clock when they were leaving, there was another 5 water balloons that hit their car, chipped their windshield yet again. They were sending out balloons that had ice in them. There's no question about it. This was their second hit. As I had said, we called for help repeatedly, and we could not get a single squad car up for response, and we're all of 400 yards. And Annika's daughter was traumatized, if you could have only seen it. Again, we tried multiple times to get help, and the officers were just spread too thin. We need to get them some help. We're hopefully planning a gap resolution to this. It was terrible, and there was people injured. They were in the street injured. The key is our city's reputation is on the line with this. There are reports going out, social media, that are very damaging to the city as well as the vendors that are here. And reemphasize the damaged reviews on social media has gotten direct financial ramifications for our city and different vendors. In closing, I see that San Clemente, the destination city, is going to be a city nobody wants to come to.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you very much for your time.
Joe Wilson, followed by Larry Culbertson, followed by Mike Kay.
Good evening, everyone. Hope you're doing well. I missed the memo about the summer tire, so maybe Andy did too. Yeah, but you got the lay, I didn't. What I want to do is, first off, thank you, Victor, for your opening statements about the situation with the beach. This is a crucial code red situation that a lot more people now are very aware of. So I wanted to fill you in on what I'm doing to try and support common messaging between city resources, the Save Our Beaches group, Bring Back Our Beaches group. We've often have differences. We met this week to resolve those and have a unified message about this situation. Andy's written a letter. So the momentum about making sure that the right thing is done with our beaches is gaining. Our communications are getting more synergistic. And I just want to point out the most important thing that's going to happen here in the near future is next Monday at 5 o'clock here in this building, and I urge all of you to come if you can. OCTA will be presenting their working draft of their resiliency program for the beaches. There's a little bit of time at the end of the meeting, provide public input. There's a crucial piece that I think we're all aligned on, and I want to clarify tonight, and that's it, which is in the current plan, the one that they reviewed recently, there's just a one-time dump of sand. They'll dump more rock, they'll create a seawall. These are things under consideration currently, but it only includes a one-time dump of sand. What will happen, as we've seen before down on the south end of the beaches, is as the rock spreads north, it scours the beach away, and sooner than later, what Victor was talking about is going to happen. What we need to do is stress the importance of, and I'll leave you with this, ongoing, a main dump of sand to get it started, and ongoing maintenance of the beach. We need OCTA to start recognizing that if they're going to put more rock in, they need to own, not necessarily execute, maybe the city could manage the execution of it. They need to own the responsibility for a mitigation ongoing to protect the beaches in this town. So I thank you very much for your services. I'm here to help in any communications within our organizations in town, and really appreciate what you're doing.
Thank you, Joe.
You got it.
Larry Culbertson, followed by Mike Kay, followed by Aaron Washington.
Good evening, Council. I was not aware that the other two people were going to be speaking on the office chair race, so I'll just tell you what I have on it. I know the 4th of July is long gone now, but several neighborhoods in San Clemente are still reeling from the office chair race. The horror has metastasized from the original site where Avenida Rosa and Victoria converge to other sites like the five-way at Calle Seville, Victoria, and Santa Barbara, and apparently down in the Pier Bowl, and several other sites that I've heard of. I realize that some of the people consider the event to be a good, clean fun, a tradition that we should honor, but they're wrong. It was once small and fun. Everyone in the neighborhood participated, but it has grown large and ugly. Frozen water balloons are hurting people and breaking house windows and automobile windows. In 2023, the city determined that we had 7,000 people in our neighborhood during the day participating in that event. It was a near riot of hooligans and water balloons. City officials were so concerned that they met with local residents to come up with a way of squelching the event. In 2024, the city sponsored a mini carnival in the neighborhood. That was fun, and it was problem-free. The race was stifled. In 2023, the city erected manned barricades. That worked somewhat. But this year, the barricades were unmanned, and they were promptly taken down. I've spoken to Mr. Hall regarding what happened that day, and he has explained some of the extenuating circumstances that he was confronted with, and I understand. But I urge you to think about the rioting that took place in Newport Beach on the 4th of July. The way that rowdy events are instantly broadcast and promoted on social media, we could have the same thing happen here in San Clemente with next year's 4th of July if we allow the office chair race to happen again. So whether we try to counter the message on the social media, plan an alternative event, erect manned barricades, or something else, we need a plan in place well ahead of the next 4th of July to try to stop the office chair race. Please direct staff to work with the community to come up with a plan. Thank you.
Thank you, Larry.
Mike Kay, followed by Aaron Washington.
Mr. Mayor, City Council, first I want to shout out a big thanks to city staff for San Clemente becoming a fire now I'm blanking on it, a fire safe community. Great job. Such a momentous first step or second step in probably a significant story that's going to unfold, but maybe the first chapter has been turned. The town is aware now that this is an issue, this is a problem. The city has done an amazing job of positioning ourselves, our city, our residents, anyway, I just wanted to throw out kudos for that. That's a really nice thing. I primarily came up here to talk about the beach erosion thing. I didn't know Victor and others were going to bring it up. Some of you know I do live down there. I go down there all the time. I was down there yesterday looking at the situation that we have. I want to point out that the emergency use of boulders has happened before in that location just 2 years ago. There is a company, Herzog Construction. They have a large contract. They have forward position boulders near songs. They have 4 or 5 giant rail cars at all times out there. As you go south to San Diego, you can see it all out there. So all they have is a hammer, and so they're whacking it one way and one way only, and that's with boulders. The boulders, the Lausanne has the rights for 50 feet from the center of the track into the ocean and 50 feet inland. That's their area. Those boulders are now well over 50 feet into the surf. They've become a surf hazard at Cottons. They're outside their jurisdiction. They're essentially littering into the Pacific Ocean. If I did that with some old concrete or something, I'd get shut down. Why do they get to do that? They're outside of their area of jurisdiction. It's unacceptable. I've talked to 2 surfers now who've been smashed up against those rocks. It's changing conditions as the boulders go down. The surfers don't know where they are. Tide is 2 or 3 feet. There's hidden rocks down there that weren't there for generations. Now there are. So they're overstepping. Big picture, we are going to have this initiative passed in November. It's going to get 50% in a vote. It'll probably get close to 70%. San Clemente needs to start positioning itself to take over this whole thing. The days of trying to work with Lausanne and OCTA and their promises, they're going to dump this or they're going to do that, that needs to end. We need a resolution from all of you guys saying, no, San Clemente wants to take this on. We are going to be the primary funder going forward. They can add to it, but we set the agenda. We set it up. They can fund us for 800,000 tons or yards or whatever they're going to do, but we need to be in control. And I think it's time that we step up and we start aligning ourselves and putting out that message and going into meetings like on Monday with that as our new position. So that's what I wanted to share. Sand. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Aaron Washington?
Hey, good evening, council. First of all, thank you for everything you guys do. I got a request. If the city can do what they did last year for the 13 fallen on the pier with the plaques and the flags, that would be highly appreciated. You know I'm going to do what I do. Lastly, just before coming here, I was called by a resident, a single mom. She's been calling me. I've been working for like 2 months now. She has a situation. She's going to come and speak to you for oral communication too. Her name is Anna Magavaro. Hear her story. She's a single mom. Her water's been turned off for 2 days. She's paid like $460 to get her water turned on. She's just really struggling. And I want you just to hear her story. If there's any guidance you can give her that I can't, please give her guidance on how she can rectify the situation that she's in with her kids and herself. She lives, I think, in Talega. So she'll be here. She'll speak in oral communications too. And I just ask you for that, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you.
Is that the last speaker?
This is the last speaker in person, and now we do have one.
Okay, so oral communications 1 is now closed to anybody that, well, wait, I'm sorry. Cord, did you turn in a card?
I turned in a card. Could I speak?
Your card said 10A or
public.
Okay, so are you speaking on Public Safety Committee or?
If I could, it's pretty general.
Well, if it's general and not on the agenda, then come and speak. Is that agreeable?
Yeah, if it's not on the agenda.
Thanks for your indulgence. My wife was hit by a balloon in the face while she was driving also, so I didn't know these speakers were going to speak, but good evening. A few weeks ago, the front page of San Clemente Times declared that we now have a sandbox full of toys that can be used and shared. This was front page news. Just 2 weeks ago, the big dispute of the city was whether a jet ski stunt show was a good idea at the Ocean Festival. When these are the major issues in front of a city, you know that it's running smoothly. During my first ever visit to the podium, I talked about the over 1,000 calls for service at Ocean View Plaza. Mentally ill drug addicts were accosting my friends and family in the parking lot. At the same meeting, Gene James stood up and talked about what a living hell it was to live next to a sober living home. What people may not remember was Council Member Kathy Ward saying that it's not a problem of the city, and that Ocean View Plaza should increase their private security. And this is my point. It only takes a second for the issues to change in San Clemente and for a functioning city council to turn into a clown show. If you remember, Kathy Ward and Chris Ham pushed to get Jackson Hinkle on the city council, thinking that he would be a pliable vote for them to steer. If you're unaware, communist Jackson Hinkle recently led anti-American chants while in Iran during the funeral of the Ayatollah. This is crazy. While things appear safe and calm here, we still do not have the law enforcement numbers that our city needs. And for the first time, I would ask that this city council not hire more Orange County sheriffs. At $300,000 per sheriff, OCSD have priced themselves out of the market. The city council should know how few sheriffs are on the street, and it should trouble you deeply. As you look to fill vacancies for Safety and Welfare Committee, which I'd happily volunteer, by the way, I would ask that you work towards increasing staffing and training for our code compliance officers so they can take on tasks that otherwise drain the time of the sheriffs. Looking at the front page of the San Clemente Times, it may seem like you have time to do this, but the Olympics are right around the corner, and worse yet, the city council may end up in another circus-like gridlock if some of the people running for office actually win. I truly believe that this issue cuts across politics, and people like Mr. Enmeyer could get behind the community outreach aspect of a more robust code compliance staff, and that Mayor Loeffler is the perfect person to help implement and oversee these changes. Please make it happen.
Thank you, Cord. Okay, so,
Okay.
We have one.
okay, so now we're gonna, it's time, yeah, so now we have a video public comment.
Yes.
It's
and
gonna be our first one here. Drum roll, please.
Bonnie Barnes.
Bonnie Barnes, okay, perfect one to speak. This will be good. We know we can count on Bonnie.
Okay.
Hey, Bonnie, welcome.
Good evening, Mayor Loeffler, Councilor, City Manager, and interested parties. On this first slide, I just remind that I'm Bonnie Barnes, Board President of Rancho San Clemente Community Association, and we are now certified as a FireWise community with the National Fire Prevention Association. So on this slide, it shows you what they have written, which is a voluntary program. It provides a framework to help neighbors get organized to protect their homes and communities from wildfire. So we hope that San Clemente will sometime become a FireWise city too. For slide 2, our next slide, please. Thank you, Laura. It shows you how to become a FireWise USA. On this site, and it says apply now, and you just click on that. It will help you a lot, and and this is on nfpa.org. So the next slide, slide 3, this is what it takes you to. It links you to portal.firewise.org, and this has the application that you fill out, and these are the things that you do. You name it, you describe it, and you just do a 3-year plan of things that you hope to accomplish in these categories here. And you also do a risk assessment, and you make a FireWise committee, and you just look over your budgets. You work with your OCFA representative for help. They were very helpful, and so is the Ready, Set, Go, which is on ocfa.org. And then when you're approved, we go on to the next slide. Next slide, please. Okay, and then they'll say you were approved, and they will give you information that came from the work that you provided. And for our area, $1,600,000 is about what we spend on all the maintenance and fire zone protection and fire safety. And that works out to about $887 per home. And on the right-hand side, it shows you what's required to do. And so we're spending about 26 times as much that you have to spend. So we're really trying hard with our program. And so now with the next slide, this is what you also get, which is a certificate. And we're sending these out to each of our people, all the 5,000 people that live here. And they get one, and anyone that's here, you're supposed to be able to get a discount on your annual insurance premium policy.
Okay, Vonnie, your 3 minutes is up, but I want to
That's it.
thank you for your hard
Thank you
work
and-
on getting Rancho
thank you
San
and good
Clemente
luck.
certified. Thank you so much.
Thank you and good luck.
All right.
Vonnie has just done incredible work, and I think she's, we're working with partnering with the city as well to get that information out to other HOAs too. And thank you, Vonnie, for leading the way on that.
Awesome. Okay.
And that is all for oral communications. Next item on the agenda, motion waiving reading in full of all resolutions and ordinances.
Moved by Mayor Pro Tem Noblock, second by Councilmember Meyer. All in favor? Aye.
Consideration of agendizing items requiring immediate action.
Seeing none.
Closed session report, City Attorney.
Thank you. Councilmember Cabral joined closed session at 5:03, at which point the whole council met on item A. There was a motion that passed unanimously to authorize the filing of a non-opposition in the case that was agendized. Council met in closed session on item B. There was direction given and no reportable action. Thank you.
Staff communications, I do not believe we have any this evening. No public hearings, no unfinished business, so we're moving on to agenda item 10A, and this is consideration of filling a vacancy on the Community Safety and Welfare Committee.
Okay. Do we have any public comments on this item?
We do not.
Do not. Okay. So here we are. This is, we have a vacancy on this committee, and I guess the chair of that committee had a medical issue that precluded him from participating in the application process. So he has asked that he be considered. Personal opinion, I mean, we've done this for other people, planning commission, that even people just that forgot. This is more than just forgot. He had an issue that made him not ambulatory. Also had another person that was interested in this also, Chris Brown. Met with Chris. He's an awesome guy. I think he would be qualified to do a lot of things in this city, and I would hope we could find a place for him at some point. But with that, has my councilman, have you had any conversations or been contacted by anybody, or you want to?
No, I don't have any conversation, but when you say hopefully he can find another place, you're suggesting that we're not going to appoint him. We have not made that decision yet.
Well, historically, we've interviewed our candidates in closed session, announced them. Here, we've got a public, we can either interview them or just go ahead and vote for one or the other. And
Yeah, I support that approach. I wonder if Mr. Brown is here, and maybe he can introduce himself to the council.
Are either of them here?
I think they're both.
They're both here,
They're
yeah.
both there. So council wants to hear from the candidate?
I think it'd be nice.
Okay, let's do that. The first, Mr. Brown is first on our ballot. You want to go ahead and start it off?
sure.
But I'll make the disclosure that I've actually had a conversation in person with Mr. Brown and with Mr. Greenwald also.
As have I.
Okay. Anybody else want to, no disclosure? Okay, I'm sorry. Chris, go ahead.
Yeah. So I just wanted to, now that I'm retired, I have time to spend, and I want to offer my services to the city. I have extensive background in safety and health and welfare, as I work for Fluor Corporation in several countries around the world, managing thousands of workers and keeping them safe. And I have a heart for community safety and welfare, and I think that it's one of the primary responsibilities of any city government is to protect and take care of its citizens. And so that's a number one priority. So I sent you have my resume, and I would really like to be on the committee. If I can be of service, please let me know.
And like our interviews, any questions of the
No, I've read all the material and background, so I'm fine.
No questions? Okay, thank you, Chris.
Anything else? Yeah.
Michael?
Yes, thank you very much for considering my request. I had some fairly extensive surgery during the time for the renewal. I will, in October, be celebrating my 36th year as a reserve police officer for the city of Los Angeles. I have worked community outward. If you'll see my CV, you'll see that I've been involved in communities since I've been here for San Clemente, and before when I lived in Granada Hills. I was on basically all the major committees making decisions for the city and guiding the city council. And it's been a great honor to chair the now the Community Safety and Welfare Committee. And I would appreciate the opportunity to continue. Any questions?
Just one, are you, health-wise, are you able to fulfill this and ready to go?
Excuse me,
That's a
Oh,
so we're not going to ask questions about health.
Fair enough.
I will tell you that I could go to the old Portel and I could do the stairs tomorrow if you want to meet me there.
I've just got one question, and I'm sorry, I should have asked Chris this also. Would either one of you, who is not selected, would you still be willing to work as an adjunct member of the, was it public safety, welfare?
Sort of an alternate?
Yeah, sort of an alternate to come to the meetings and kind of still be involved, and would that be something that you'd be willing to do?
Again, if you look at my CV, you'll see that there's never been a time in my life that I haven't been involved in at least 2 or 3 city functions at the same time as a volunteer or on a committee.
And Chris, Chris, the same question to you.
However I can be of service.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm willing to attend anything and help in any way I can.
thank you.
There are subcommittees, right?
There are subcommittees.
They could-
Yeah, there's opportunities on all of our committees to be a member of a subcommittee and work on specific projects, so, thank you.
Especially, I don't want to see San Clemente become the city that I work in currently.
Well,
All
amen to
right,
that.
so the committee is very, very, very important, and thanks to the sheriffs for keeping us so safe. Thank you.
Okay, so I guess we'll just go ahead and vote on the first ballot.
Okay, Mayor and Council, Michael Greenwald got 4 votes and Chris Brown got 1 vote.
Okay, thank you. And Chris, I want you to be involved in this committee. There are lots of opportunities for you to participate, and I'd like you to, I hope you do that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, council members.
Madam City Clerk, I'm sorry.
And I have a 7 o'clock LAPD Zoom meeting that I've got to get home.
Well, I hope it's not here. Get out of here.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Okay, next item on the agenda is item 10B, and this is consideration to introduce an ordinance amending section 10.28.050 of the San Clemente Municipal Code relating to 72-hour parking restrictions and finding the ordinance not subject to the California Environmental Quality Act.
And just do we have any speakers on this item?
We do have 2 speaker cards, yes.
And no video,
No
people?
video.
Okay. Community Development Director, Atamian.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the City Council. It's nice to see everybody after a summer break. This item before you is an item that has returned from the council direction provided at the April 2026 meeting, requesting staff to bring back an ordinance that modifies the city's 72-hour parking requirements to indicate that a movement of at least 100 feet is required at the termination of a 72-hour compliance period before the beginning of another. There are also some provisions in the ordinance to address and consolidate some of the city's vehicle towing authority as it relates to this item. The council may introduce and conduct a first reading of this ordinance, modify it, or decline to introduce it, and that concludes my presentation, but I'm available for any questions.
Any questions before we go to public? Okay, let's have our first speaker.
D. Coleman, followed by Amanda Quintanilla.
I'm back here. Thank you for your time, esteemed mayor and council. This has been an issue that I brought to you back October of last year. That car has been in the same location for all this time. Those pictures are of today. There's cobwebs on the car. Those cars, the orange one and the rust-colored one, have been there for a significant amount of time. This is an issue not about parking, but about storage of vehicles on the street in our city. This, I think, is one of the most organized and qualified councils I've seen in this city for a number of years. And this city, to be a good quality community, needs to have a bunch of different tools in its community to uphold the value of the community, the safety of the community, the standards that make it what it is. And having cars that are collecting cobwebs, that are sitting there, dropping oil on our streets, devalues our property. It impedes our services that go on throughout here. So this ordinance has been pushed in a number of cities all across the state of California. This isn't something just popped up today. 4 out of 7 on the report here have modified this program to change it. I'm asking today that you consider this as a productive effort for the future and the enhancement of San Clemente. People are paying to store their cars $300 or $400 a month to park a car. People are getting away with that and not paying anything by leaving them on our streets and littering them up. Our area where we has at least 10 of them in our 3-block radius. That's unacceptable. Those people are disregarding the law and they think they're above the law and getting away with it, whereas people that are paying to store cars are not doing it. If these cars were in your neighborhood, I'm sure you wouldn't be happy with that kind of activity in your neighborhood. I respectfully ask to introduce and modify tonight Ordinance 1811. I think it's a much more efficient use of all of our services and the city services, and after hearing some of the things that I heard so far today, I think that's an enhancement to our community. When I went to the safety committee meeting and brought this up, which is in these notes here, after I left, one of the deputies came up and caught me off guard and said, what you're suggesting is something that really needs to be done. I hope that they do it. That was uncalled for. I did not ask for it. He just came to me and said that. He knows it's a problem. Our officers know it's a problem. Our staff knows it's a problem. I think you realize it's an issue. I hope that you'll take advantage of this and do something. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Dee.
Amanda Quintanilla.
Hi. When I first started to fight RV parking and van parking around Maxbrook Park and Las Palmas Elementary, that was a public safety concern, of course. But also there was vehicles that were left there for days to weeks. And that was really fast solution because all I had to do was call the sheriff's office and they basically were ticketed and then soon after they were gone. So, but the RVs and vans, that was a problematic issue that lasted for years, and ordinances were changed, or yes, ordinances were changed. I am concerned about this as the agenda states, in areas with abundant on-street parking, relocating 100 feet may be relatively straightforward. In areas with limited parking availability, complying with the same requirement may require vehicles to relocate farther from the original location that would otherwise be necessary, resulting in a greater practical burden despite the same ordinance applying citywide. And so, living in town, there are concerns regarding parking, especially by the T-zone, Pier Bowl area, where there's businesses, where people park near residences, apartments, homes. So that does become a problem. And so, people that live there have to deal with people that also have or go to businesses to work. So I'm just kind of wondering, is there any exceptions to people living in town where there isn't that much space? Because it's limited. People that live on our street or close to Maxburg Park, we've got a routine. We know where to park, when to park, and it works well. But I'm just kind of wondering what about other people in other areas in town? Thank you.
Thank you, Amanda. So do you have any discussion or questions, or somebody want to make a motion?
I'll move the item.
Okay, motion made by Councilmember Cabral, second by Councilmember Enmeyer.
Question on
What?
the motion.
Sure.
Do we need to read the entire description of the ordinance?
I don't know.
No, but just confirming that the motion is to introduce and conduct the first reading of ordinance.
I believe that was the
Correct?
motion.
Yes, okay.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Passes 5-0. Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is designation of voting delegate and alternates to represent San Clemente at the League of California Cities Annual General Assembly, which takes place on September 25th in Anaheim.
Do we have any public comments on this?
We do not.
Okay.
I would just like to throw my name out there for this. I'll be speaking there at one of the forums as well. And I know, Victor, you've done it in the past, but I would like to have a shot at it and have a chance.
Well, I'm the designated 5th District representative that's been appointed by the council, so we could,
Do you need an alternate? Is that required? Or is that
I've already booked my hotel and booked.
Oh, I mean, we'll both be there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. This is just for the voting itself on there, that's all.
Yeah.
Madam Clerk, I recall Councilmember Victor used to be the designated representative at the SCAG. Then this year, we changed to Mayor Pro Tem No Block, and then Councilmember Cabral as alternate. I don't recall on that chart, I see that the council voted to designate a council member to Cal Cities. Can you confirm?
Correct. We don't have a council liaison to Cal Cities. I believe what Councilmember Cabral is referring to, I think this is a separate board that you were voted on by Cal Cities, is that
By
correct?
by the members of.
Correct, yeah, not by this council.
But I'm not on SCAG, I'm not the designated representative to SCAG, though.
That's not on the agenda, though.
Yeah.
No, but he suggests I was the.
So,
I'm just not sure the status of,
This is basically just to say, who do we want as a city to be a voting member for the Cal Cities?
between two of you, one would be the primary, another one would alternate. I'm fine with that, but.
Yeah, I would just like to throw my name out there to be the primary instead of the alternate this year.
Victor's going to be there, he's going to be voting, make a motion to table the item.
But we have to, Cal City requires that we designate an individual, yeah.
So was this like a 2-year, what is this, a 1-year term?
Just
It's a
one
day.
meeting.
It's the General Assembly at the League of California Cities Annual Conference. It happens each year, and each year we just have to add one city council member to be the voting delegate.
Did we always vote to designate someone?
Yes.
Whom did we designate last
I
year?
believe it was Councilmember Cabral last year.
And then prior year?
I would have to I would have to go back and look. I don't know off the top of my head.
I believe you've done it for 2 years in a row.
Well,
I've never done it.
Yeah, the issue is they usually, don't have anything on the agenda. So I know 2 years ago there was, there was nothing on the agenda. This past year they're married, but it's not like they're taking up a lot of things, although they do take up issues where where they want to bring issues that are before the state legislature. And Cal Cities is a little bit, if you look at the makeup of the cities, they usually have issues that probably, I think, this body would not be in favor of most of those items. And so that's why I think it's important to have.
I would argue that this council would be in favor of most of those items because they're about local control. But I would just say, look, I would like to have a shot at this.
Victor,
If we're looking for alternates, I also would like to be designated as an alternate. This is a local meeting, and I can be available.
Okay, well, this is my thought. We designated Councilmember Victor last year. I know Victor is very involved with the legislature stuff, and I appreciate that effort. At the same time, I wanna, if you're willing to just let the other council member to have a rotation.
Well, it's not a matter of that. It's a matter of that. We have a monthly meeting where we spend 2 hours going over all the legislation, going over all the issues. So there is a whole year of activity. There's 2 years of activities where we've looked at things, where we come to this meeting and we finally vote on some of this stuff on the position. So
You have a monthly meeting with them.
we have a monthly meeting with Cal Cities.
And so then are you suggesting that you'd be interested in being an alternate?
No. I'm going to attend the conference, but I'm not interested.
I've just got a question. So the things that you vote on, so you don't get the opinion of the city council of what we support. You're just, whoever's there just kind of votes with their consciences? Is that how it works?
I mean, the way I take the responsibility, I have a sense of where the city council is on something.
Well, I think all 5 of us would probably say the same thing, probably. I mean, maybe. I mean,
Is there any really important issue that the council should have decided beforehand?
No, I would just like to have the experience. This is more so, as you said, Victor, sometimes they don't even have anything to vote on. But if so, I'd like to have the experience, just as you've had the experience and has had the opportunity. I would like, at some point, all of the council members to have that same experience as well, to share in that.
who's the alternate now?
Well, last year I was the alternate.
Okay.
But Victor attended, and
Okay, so last year you were the alternate. Victor's done it for a couple of years. I mean, it's not anything you vote on is not binding.
Not binding to the city
on this
whatsoever.
council.
Yeah.
And Steve, you
I'm willing to serve as an alternate if the
Well,
council.
let's decide on the primary. I say let's give Councilmember a turn.
I'm not opposed to that. I mean, we need to start moving a lot of these committee, these sub things that we do. I know that Victor's the OCFA, liaison's been doing that for a while. I know, we've all shared in some of
I
these.
like the idea of a rotation. Everybody has some exposure at a certain time.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I think if
Well, I only have one thought on that, and governance is not a system of rotation. Governance is a system of policy positions, values, and attitudes regarding public policy.
I understand, but all of us were elected officials.
Then let's bring all the Cal Cities resolution and let's discuss and
bring them
decide how to
all-
vote on them.
all back
Then we
be-
designate someone to vote.
Yeah, so again, we've all been elected by a portion of our residents here. And so I respect that, and I know Victor got number of votes, very similar number of votes to what Mark Enmeyer got, citywide. And again, I agree with Councilmember Wu that this isn't something that's binding, that's going to bind the city to do something. I've looked at some of the things that Cal Cities has supported, and I'm 100% against it. And a lot of things I'm 100% for it. Especially if we have a conscientious alternate, I think you two guys could figure it out. I really do. So would you support Mayor Pro Tem Noblock? I'm sorry, so you're saying Mayor Pro Tem Enmeyer. Mayor Pro Tem Noblock as being the alternate. We'll just do this as one.
I don't have a problem, but I think we should decide one at a time because maybe Victor wants to be.
Okay.
Oh, no, I'm not going to fight for this. I mean, it's like, if that's a consensus, that's fine. It's not.
Okay.
They may not even have a meeting. They may not even have a vote.
Well,
So
I
it's
appreciate it being magnanimous. So with that,
I'll remind all of the council members, city council is a nonpartisan body.
Right.
That's by state law. So we're a nonpartisan body. I think we can kind of look at it and like I say, I'm
maybe Rick and I take a turn next year. Who knows?
Maybe, yeah, maybe.
Right.
Well, yeah.
With that, I make a motion.
I'm not committing to anything else.
Why don't we send you to Sacramento?
I'm not, yeah.
No, this is in Anaheim, not in.
No, this one is in Anaheim, yeah.
With that, I make a motion to designate the council member Enmeyer to be the primary, and then
I'll second it.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Okay, you made the motion. All in favor? Aye. Okay. Any noes? Okay, passes.
Mayor Pro Tem Noblock being the alternate.
The alternate, right?
No, that was just for the.
That was the primary.
That was the primary.
That was the primary.
Okay.
If someone wants to be the alternate, I'm fine.
Okay, I'll be an alternate. That's fine.
Okay.
You have to spend 3 days
You
there.
have to go to the meeting. Okay.
All right,
I'll make
or do you want to make a motion?
Okay, I make a motion.
I think Councilmember Enmeyer spoke
He
first.
made it,
Motion by Councilmember Enmeyer to make Mayor Pro Tem Noblock
I
the
second.
alternate on the Cal City. Second by Councilmember Wu. All in favor?
Aye.
There you go. Be careful what you wish for, buddy.
Okay, next item on the agenda, review of the city's integrated pest management policy.
Is there any speakers on this?
We do have 2 speaker cards, yes.
Okay. So we're getting a brief
Very brief.
presentation by our
Yes.
Parks and Rec Director. Okay.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm Samantha Wiley Beaches, Parks and Recreation Director. All of the information is in your report before you this evening, but just as an overview, I want to remind our council and members of the public that San Clemente was an early adopter of an integrated pest management policy plan. Back in 2018, the policy was adopted. The conversation started in 2017 with our very own resident, Michelle Schumacher, who spearheaded a movement to start this policy discussion. Our IPM policy prioritizes prevention and non-chemical methods before any other type of use. And we have successfully been treating all of our parks without pesticides since policy adoption in 2018. Our contractor currently has the ability to use Mirimichi Green, which is a organic, non-pesticide product, but they actually don't even use that. All weeds are currently hand-pulled, and again, since 2018, we've not had any issues, and we've continued to not use pesticides within our parks. And then I guess the only exception to that is our medians, and effective in the last couple of weeks, we've completely stopped using any type of pesticide within our medians as well, and they will continue to hand pull weeds going forward, or use that Mirimichi product. And we haven't seen any issues since that.
Just real quick, so you said pesticides, but when you talk about hand pulling weeds, that would be like herbicides, wouldn't it?
Yeah, so a glyphosate is what you could use within medians. And medians were an exclusion within the policy because of a concern out of a potential person sitting in the middle of a street pulling weeds out of a median. There was some early concern. But as we've seen the policy and our practices become really effective over the last near decade, staff feel confident that pulling back on any type of use, even in our medians, we will still remain, it'll still be effective to that extent. And then any type of use of a pesticide, again, according to the IPM, does require authorization by the city, and that authority is granted to the maintenance manager, and it's never been asked for, it's never been approved, and so we've continued to not use pesticides in our parks and trails and beachways.
Okay. Any questions of our Beaches and Parks Director before we hear from the?
I have a question. I know it's great to hear that our city is doing, is on the forefront of prevention on pesticides, especially hearing what's going on in other towns and areas. I'm curious, do HOAs have to follow the same guidelines as the city?
They do not. Our IPM policy is specific to public property, public parks.
What would it take for our city to make this a designation for HOAs as well, that they would have to follow it, the same guidelines?
Madam City Attorney and City Manager, so could the city adopt a code that would cover HOAs and what they used on their?
I don't know the answer to your question well enough to answer that without doing some homework. We're very glad to look at what authority the city has to do that on private property. I just don't, I don't have an answer. I don't know if the city attorney does. I'd have to do more research. I don't know.
Would you be willing to do that research and come back to us? Because my concern is, from what I'm hearing, especially at parks in Talega, is that the HOAs are running pesticides, or they're doing some of these activities and putting the smallest of notices up there, or not doing a notice at all. And so I love hearing that our city is being proactive and wonderful on that. I would just like to see this not just stop at the city, but also make sure our HOAs are following that same policy.
And do Talega Parks, do they do private, or are the Talega Parks part of our park system?
We have 3 public parks within the Talega area, and none of them use pesticides, but Talega, as an association, does have a number of its own community HOA parks, and I can't speak for that.
Mayor, if I could clarify your earlier question. We're kind of interchangeably using pesticides and herbicides, but I think we mean both. So just want to make sure we clarify that.
Any other questions of our Beaches and Parks Director?
One question. I like the concept of expanding the non-toxic to the HOAs, but if we're using back and forth toxic and non-toxic, and that the maintenance manager is the level of authority for the use of it, I'd like to see that authority level raised to perhaps the city manager. I know in the county where tons of glyphosate's been sprayed without the Board of Supervisors involvement or the county administrative officers involvement. So I'd like to see that level raised from the maintenance manager to the city manager.
Okay, great. Yeah, hang on to that for a possible amendment, and now we'll hear from the residents.
Amanda Quintanilla, followed by Mike Kay.
I was hoping Michelle Schumacher would tune in. Next slide, please. So years ago, Michelle Schumacher, founder of Non-Toxic San Clemente and Non-Toxic Communities as a board member, stopped the spraying of toxins in San Juan Capistrano, San Clemente, and in the community of Talega. Currently, she's helping Ladera Ranch, that community. And next slide, please. So this is just basically an article from Fred Swaggles, the late Fred Swaggles, and right now, currently, Ladera Ranch is going through a health crisis involving possible pesticide usage and herbicides, glyphosates. Next slide, please. I want to thank Assemblywoman Kate Sanchez, Assemblywoman Diane Dixon, Assemblywoman Lori Davies, Senator Tony Strickland, and Senator Choi for sending a letter to the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency to come to a solution to investigate what is happening there at Ladera Ranch. Next slide, please. Again, also, this is a letter from Assemblywoman Kate Sanchez to Governor Newsom requesting immediate assistance to look through to find out, to do an investigation at the local level, state, and federal level as well. So I just put a couple of agencies there, but there's a lot more on the second page. Next slide, please. So I attended the Ladera Ranch Civic Council meeting, town hall, to discuss what's happening there in Ladera Ranch. And Michelle Schumacher was one of the keynote speakers. And my concern is that I had emailed not to unravel, not to change this policy 801-5 until actually something might happen as far as any any changes at the county level, at the state level, or federal level. And I know it's I understand that the term pesticides, I think it seemed to me that it encompasses herbicides and glyphosate, and I had previously emailed Andy Hall regarding that. But the concern is, let's not unravel it. Yes, there is room for improvement. However, let's wait until what our county board of supervisors are doing and our state legislatures. I forgot to mention Supervisor Katrina Foley and Congressman Mike Levin. I didn't have those letters, so I would have posted that up. So I just think that some legislative action might come up. It was my understanding when talking to Assemblywoman Diane Dixon's staff that there was going to be a resolution put through at the state level this week. So I think that we should just wait on some.
Thank you, Amanda.
Thank you.
Mike Kay?
City Council, some of you know I have a Master's of Science from UC Davis. As a graduate student at Davis 30 years ago, I was a student teacher for integrated pest management. I helped develop the integrated pest management for the California vineyard industry. Napa Valley and Sonoma counties took on IPM as a result of my work as a graduate student. It's a subject I know extremely well, perhaps better than anyone in our community. It's a fancy way of saying we're kind of watching what we're doing. The overall strategies that we have may or may not be correct, but the applications of our policies are out of whack. I personally have seen application of herbicides on the medians. On the same day, we had an atmospheric river dumped several inches of rain in our town within an hour of the application. All that herbicide went running right down Vista Hermosa, right in the storm drains, right out in Pocha Beach. I personally have had the goats sprayed 3 times by a contracted landscape company, contracted to the city. I have sent 3 of you and Andy Hall right now video showing the spraying that went on. Samantha is correct. There is use on medians and entryways, but let's be clear. The videos that you see, and I'll send you guys lots more. I got lots of pictures. That's where people walk their dogs. That's where kids ride their e-bikes. That's where people go and hike and recreate. That's where the goats go out when they go graze on city-owned property. That's city-owned property right there. There is no signage. There is no warning. I've gone out and talked to those crews, asked very nicely. No one speaks English. I don't even think those guys could read English. I don't even know if they realize what they're doing. They're spraying native habitat, the same habitat we worked very hard to save, California sagebrush, lemonade berry bush. It's stabilizing that hillside. I can take you guys there right now and show you where it's dead, where they sprayed. The top is alive, and there's a huge strip where it's all dead. So although we have the right policy, the application in the field is not correct. It's not following procedures. You have guys that are not being monitored, who are not well educated, nice guys working hard. I feel for them. Just today, took the goats out, had to turn around and bring them back and dump them. We couldn't go out and graze. There were landscape trucks parked right in our spot. I went up, and I speak Spanish. A couple of you guys have heard me. I'm fluent in Spanish. Grew up in a Spanish-speaking household. I said, who's in charge? No one. The guy in charge was gone. I said, so no one can move a truck so we can park the goats, so we can unload in our fenced-off areas? They're like, yeah, he's gone. Sorry, there's no one here. It's not the first time it's happened. We've actually turned the goats around a couple times now because we've come to these crews and there's no one in charge. It's the Wild West. I think we should shut it down for 60 days, just like Ladera Ranch. There are some cancer clusters going on. There's a lot of dogs in Tule that have gotten cancer. We don't know exactly why that is. And we should have some, prevent a lot of caution. And it's not the growing season, so let's take a break.
Thank you, Mike. Boy. Is there a
Mike.
train coming? Was that the last card? Okay, so On this policy, Steve, I think you had a suggestion of something to add to the
Yeah, I
policy?
suggest if there's any toxic, non-toxic, that the level of authority be raised from the maintenance manager to the city manager.
Okay.
Mr. Enmeyer's suggestion about looking at pesticides in our HOAs, I think is significant. It borders streets, borders parks, borders city property, and it's a public health issue, so I kind of like that concept as well.
Okay. I was, on the trail of Mike there also, I'd like to see in the policy specifically that we ensure that whatever we're putting down, toxic or non-toxic, is being applied by the manufacturer's recommendations, and that's followed. I'd also like to see that for transparency, that somehow we make public what we are spraying. A list of the products, so the public can see and they can do their own research. I'd like to add that to our policy.
Online?
Sure, if they put on the city website, that'd be great.
Just on what Mike was saying there, if there's something that we need to be worried about in terms of our contractors and following through, that they are following these appropriate steps in our city guidelines. If they aren't, we need to find out why they aren't or if they aren't. And so if we can get some follow through on that as well from the city.
Yeah, and that was part of my suggestion, that we make sure that they're applying it by the manufacturer's recommendations, so. Mr.
Mayor, you want the city to report the amount of herbicide and pesticide we use, and how often do you want it?
Oh, I didn't say the amount, I just said list what we're using.
A list of them?
Yeah, just identify what we are spraying.
Okay. Samantha, is that something that you can accommodate? Okay. What about the Mayor Pro Tem's requested to raise the level from administrative staff to the city manager? It's still at the staff level.
No issue with that.
Okay.
Certainly.
Anybody else have anything they want to put into this as far as?
I think we've covered it all. The second issue, though, has to be agendized
Right.
later. Okay.
Yeah, this is kind of direction, so staff knows I think we're interested in the policy change or adding to the policy. Shaking your head, yes.
Yeah, so
Okay.
we don't need to do this in terms of the HOA, we don't need to do this as a future agenda item. You'll be able to bring this.
Yeah, I think
back.
that's inherent that you guys want to
Okay.
see that, so we'll bring it back.
Okay.
That's just direction.
Yeah, exactly. And then the policy will come back to us also.
Great.
Okay, do I have a motion?
I don't know, I'll motion the staff take that as policy direction and report back.
Second.
Okay, motion by Mayor Pro Tem Noblock, second by Councilmember Cabral, all in favor?
Aye.
Carries 5-0.
Next item on the agenda is 10E, discussion and potential city council direction to initiate improvements to create a community amphitheater in the city of San Clemente.
Is there any staff report?
There is. There's a real quick staff report. I know that there has been some discussion about a potential amphitheater in our community, and they're pulling up a PowerPoint, I believe, that indicates we actually have one. And so one of the things that we want to do is we want to take advantage of the facility that we currently have and see if we can't use it at a greater capacity, and see if that might be able to be at least an introduction into amphitheaters in our community. But this is located at the Forster Ranch Community Park. This is an overhead view of it. It is on the north end of the park, as it is immediately adjacent to some school district property. So there'll be some communication with the school district and making sure that there isn't conflicts there. One of the things that I would note in the Forster Ranch Park is there is no lighting on the fields, and so if there were perhaps, we just want to be able to explore this. We haven't put a lot of work into this because the city council hasn't authorized it yet, but we did go out and take a few pictures. This is a facility now. It is used on occasion for what we call movies in the park, and they set up a screen and people are able to sit on the slope. And so we wanted to look at what could happen if we took some of this landscaped area and actually put in, instead of just the sloped seating on the grass, what if we were to put in some seating in the amphitheater itself and be able to have maybe persons that might have some mobility challenges could still go and participate. So we asked Mayor Loeffler's band to come out and play and get on the stage. And you
That's
see
him
them
in the
there.
middle I think. Isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's him there in the middle. And there's a little, I don't
Everybody
know,
laugh.
concession stand up at the top. But some of the things that we might be looking at adding are maybe something, kind of a small stage there where you might be able to, reflect the sound in the right direction, and maybe some temporary speakers and some lighting where you might be able to have a theatrical performance like what the high school does right now, maybe at the upper campus, that we might be able to accommodate some of those things, as well as maybe some terracing. You can see here in the picture to the left that there's a little bit of terracing, whereas right now, the facility that we currently have doesn't have the terracing, it just has the slope. But at least I believe it's a starting point. We believe that this facility could accommodate, 300 or 400 people, maybe as much as 5 or 6, depending on how you did the seating. But I think it's a good start for us to start to look into what our community might support. It might grow into something bigger. And if it's bigger, it would have to be in a different location. There are certainly size limitations here, but it'd be a nice place for us to maybe get a start, understand, and not only that, but utilize this park to its fullest capacity. So anyway, the other thing the other place that we had identified is some of the slope up at Steed. And there is a large slope that goes up towards the industrial park at Steed. And that location might be another one where you kind of have built-in topography where you could have a stage at the bottom and put the seating in an amphitheater setting similar to this. And so we want to also come back to the city council as we're exploring what this might be able to do. If the council wants us to move forward, we'd also like to come back and let you know what some of the opportunities and maybe some of the obstacles would be at maybe further developing a site at Steed also, because that would certainly accommodate larger crowds if that's something that the city council would be interested in the future. Again, being cost conscious, the community doesn't have a lot of financial resources. We thought it might be good to start with a facility that's already somewhat down the path of being able to be used for at least some of the events in the community. So
Victor had a question.
Yeah, I didn't. I was just going to make a comment really about this.
Do we have any public speakers?
We do not.
Okay, Victor.
We went out there and took a look at this area. You had a prior aerial of, the area where there's the plantings. We looked at, and it's a great place. It's a great place where you could flatten that out and put some seating there for handicap or disabled, because it'll roll right into the parking lot. There's also space along there for booths to be set up. There's 3 different parking lots there. There's also a lot of parking in the school. I did have a chance to talk to the president of the school board about that. They're concerned about that area right now because it's not fenced off. There's the property to the north is school property, but there's potential for parking in that area too. It's not too steep, but what, and Steve and I went and had a chance to tour the property. What I liked most about it was you could develop this incrementally. You could say this year, first year, we're just going to elevate the stage. And as a proof of concept for the city to show that there's a real interest in an amphitheater, you could put more and more money stage by stage. And I think it's something that we should look forward to developing as we see fit. And you would be the first act that would be
if I live long enough to see this come to fruition.
Yeah, I think this asset is a real gem. I wasn't aware of it, quite frankly, and it has the capacity to hold up to 600 people. My original vision was something like the Moonlight Theater in Oceanside, much larger, like what Steed would provide for us. But that's a long-term goal. It's expensive. This is immediate. I think to make this thing work, we need to make sure the school district, the Capistrano Unified School District, and the elementary and the junior high are on board with providing access for the back staging, for the electricity, for the all the performances that would take place for the settings and the equipment that would be needed to come on board. That would have to be on school property. So I think a good contract with them where we use their parking, they use our facility, we maybe pay for a little of the fencing. I think this is a plus for our community. With 600 seats there, we could have all sorts of theatrical and music venues, and the homes are a long way away. We've got the electric, the sewer, the lighting, we've got it all there. So it's really a gem. And I think we should maybe move forward with this. Keep Steed on the back burner, but keep it as an option as this thing, as Victor said, expands with staging in the future, additional seating in the future. And I think it's a real gem. Be a great thing for our community.
No, I agree. It came out of a conversation about the amphitheater with Samantha, and we were talking about amphitheater, whether there would be other besides Steed, Steed's a challenge, and Samantha said, well, we have an amphitheater in Forster Ranch Park, and I didn't know that. I drove up there and I go, yeah,
It's absolutely hidden down there in a little valley.
and it's the perfect place, I think. I mean, it's in a park, number one. It's got parking. It's a beautiful setting, and I would. Starting small is good, but I would really, to support this, I'd like to find the money to do it right the first time, though. You do need a stage, you do need trusses or a background somewhere to block off the back, and of course the concrete and all. I don't think this would be that expensive to really do a nice product to start with. And then, hey, if this thing becomes so popular, we got to build another amphitheater somewhere, well then,
we'll do it.
We know that we need it. So that's my comments.
It looks like we have a plan here, and it's important to get the school district buy-in because they're going to supply the utilities. But in the worst case, we can still fall back because the city will have some electricity.
We have our own electricity there.
Close by.
But having the school I think we already have some mutual agreement with the school district on some of the years. But
In that
let's get
location, that is correct. The school district owns the property underneath the soccer field and the track, and we maintain it and as part of a partnership we have with the district there. That's great.
Any comments, Mark?
No, I'm all for this. This is a fantastic idea, and I'm excited to see what can come of it. And I'd love to see some more cooperation and with the school district on this, especially with our board president and making sure that that can come to fruition. But yeah, this is a great location and everything's there to get a good start. And I'd love to see some summer concerts and summer plays and even middle school productions that can be done there as well, and band concerts. And this can be a multi-use, not just for the city, but for the school right next to it as well. I'd love to see that shared partnership between them.
And then let's start small and incrementally, and at the same time, we need to spend time to develop the program, not just the physical facilities. And if we can prove the concept, and if it's shown that there's a great need for a bigger facility, then we can go there.
I've been to other towns where they have summer plays at night and summer concerts. That would be a perfect venue for 300 people to go enjoy.
Well, the city of Carmel by the Sea has two. They have an outdoor one, it's called a forest, and then they have an indoor one. So.
The other thing, Mayor, is that we tend to do everything at the beach, all our concerts. And I know the people up in the Talega area would much prefer, I think, to just drive into the neighborhood instead of trying to find a parking space down at the beach area, which it's always a little bit more difficult. And I think it will have its own natural draw for entertainment there.
And I know the Forster Ranch residents will just welcome crowds coming in, and they want that. Lots of parties.
But there's not too many homes nearby. That's a good thing.
No, it backs up to the school, which is.
The stage is about 600 feet from the school.
Yeah,
from the home. So
I was kind of kidding. But anyway, I think we have consensus. Do we need to do a motion on this, or is this direction to the city manager?
Direction accepted.
Direction accepted. Okay. On to the next item.
On the
Oh,
direction, could we, what's the timing to report back, in your opinion, Mr. City Manager?
I think we can come back with a more polished concept than what we did, probably very quickly. Before the end of the year, we could come back with some cost estimates, some preliminary designs, and some things for the city council.
Within the next couple months?
Yeah.
2 months?
Yeah.
So the design, we can do that in-house, right? We don't have to get
I
a,
think to the point where you guys can make a decision to move forward, yes, and then any of the engineering that needs to be, we want to be very conscious about sound engineering. We learned so much from the Ole Hansen Beach Club about what proper sound can do to keep the concerns down of residents. We want to use, and we have a great company here in town that does that.
Yeah,
So
Sonos.
we want to be able to be very, very careful about sound and make sure there's no impacts.
yeah, my question is, if we do this all in-house, if we do an outside architect and consultant, all, it's going to cost more than the project.
$1 million.
Yeah, so if we can keep everything in-house, I think it's going to be quicker and much less expensive.
Mayor,
I would
for
I would
the,
also say,
wait,
yeah, I
Go
don't-
First in.
for the initial concept, site design, and I can offer my free service program.
You're done. You're doing it. Start making it up now.
yeah, I was going to say, if we could have like a menu of things and estimated cost, like the seating in the back, a raised stage, each of those things have been identified, electricity on the stage, a stage. and
Great
over-
suggestion, a menu of things.
A menu of things, so we could say, well, we can't do it all right now, we don't have the money, but we can do this. We can do A, B, and C.
Like it.
All right?
I think we're done with this item.
Yep.
Okay, next item on the agenda is the consent calendar. We do have some public comments on several.
Okay, first of all, any members of the council want to pull an item?
I'd like to pull 11E, just because we have a number of public who
Okay.
would like to speak on that.
And any other items pulled? Do we have any other items that the public wishes to speak on?
Yes, 11B as in boy, 5. 11, Councilmember Wu already pulled 11E. We have 11F as in Frank, 11G as in George.
Slow down, what was that second one, 11F is in?
F is in Frank and 11G is in George.
Okay.
Okay, and how many speakers on 11B is in boy?
Just one.
One speaker on 11F
One speaker on 11F.
and 11G.
One.
One speaker. Okay, so
Move the balance?
move the balance by Mayor Pro Tem Noblock, second. By Councilmember Enmeyer, in favor? Aye. Okay, why don't we start with the ones with one speaker, maybe, and work our way up, maybe go GFB, how about that?
Okay, so 11B5, starting with 11B5?
Okay,
Is that Amanda Quintanilla?
Did you say B5 is in boy?
B5, 11B is in boy, 5. Adjourn minutes meetings here from July.
Hi, council members. One of the concerns that I had is that I did attend the planning commission meeting, and one of the parklets for the cellar basically has all wood around. And during the planning commission meeting, city staff stated that there was a concern from our deputies that there wasn't a clear line of sight. And so that was one of their main concerns, and they are the only parklet that has wood all around it. So usually there's like slats of wood and then some space and then another slat of wood, but this one's all solid. And so the concern was that I don't think the emphasis was put on public safety as for our deputies for a clear line of sight. So I was hoping to hopefully going back to the planning commission with, and to re-look at it, and, because I really didn't get a chance to find out what was the concerns and, regarding the deputies. And I think what they had mentioned was just removing one plaque of wood was sufficient, but it should really been discussed with our deputies to find out if that 6 inches or one plaque of wood would be sufficient for a clear line of sight. So that was discussed by Mr. Zacharim at the Planning Commission meeting. So that's why I was wondering if I could appeal it in some way, or what's the process on that? So, so I just wanted to voice my concerns regarding that. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Amanda. Any-
Okay.
Move the item.
Motion by Councilmember Cabral, second by Councilmember Enmeyer. All in favor?
Aye.
It's moved. 11F.
Amanda Quintanilla.
Oh, you know what? I declined this one. I got confused with the other one.
Okay, no problem.
I'll move the item.
Second?
Motion by Councilmember Cabral, second by Mayor Pro Tem Noblock. All in favor? Aye. It's moved. 11G. Anissa.
Is Samantha presenting the policy first? Thought it was,
No?
this was a consent item, so just for vote. Okay, sorry. Hi, I'm Nisa Bromley, a club administrator at San Clemente Water Polo. Our club is between sessions. The director is out of the country, and I just got back this morning, so I haven't had a chance to look at the new policy. But I did just want to say that we support the city trying this new pilot, but respectfully ask for some safeguards, whether it's a fee or penalty ceiling, while we try this vastly different process that requires kids swiping. It's just completely new. Based on our initial review, we have some significant concerns. The policy moves from a predictable model to one with uncertainty for team sports with rolling registration, fluctuating rosters, limited facility access, uncertainty around whether or not residency is based on the total program or the swipes, which changes with variable practice times. It creates a lot of instability and planning risk. Also, I think the impetus was to prevent exception requests, but the primary reason still remains, which is exceptionally high residency. We proposed aligning with municipal benchmarks of 75% residency, which are among the highest of the standards we found. If the city holds at 78%, we requested or proposed a 5% San Clemente School Nexus, so crediting San Clemente students. That maintains a strong resident priority while recognizing Capo Unified Open Enrollment, San Clemente High School feeder program pathways, and the realities and challenges of a team sport. Also, the new policy no longer considers total residents served. So, for example, a program of 10 kids at 100% residency could bump a program with 250 kids at 75% residency, even though we serve, or the program would serve 20 times more residents. So, excuse me, I lost my place, excuse me. We haven't found any evidence that requiring a supermajority provides greater residency benefit, but for a team sport, it's actually the opposite. It risks local access. There's also some operational requirements that don't really align with sport realities that carry like a 3-strike and you're out. Penalties that don't really align with youth sports, including like last-minute cancellation. So I just wanted to again say we support trying this process, but hope that there's some safeguards in the process. Thank you.
Thank you, Anissa. And before we vote on this item, Samantha, so when we do change the mechanics of this, if there's bugs, we can always, I assume, readdress them and try to tweak them if they're needed.
Yes. Yes.
You can just say yes?
I came up to say yes.
You couldn't have yelled it out from back there?
When it comes to the enforcement of the policy, staff are always pretty gracious with how many warnings are given. It's not a, you did this, you messed up, and here's your immediate warning or a fine or something like that. We try to work our hardest with our partner groups to make sure that there's clear communication, and after the 4th or 5th time, we have to start enforcing our policies at that point.
Okay, thank you. We love our water polo players.
So.
Absolutely.
So I have a motion to move the item?
I'll move it.
Motion by Councilmember Wu, second by Councilmember Cabral. All in favor? Aye. Okay, I guess we're on to 11E. How many speakers do we have?
We have 5 speakers.
5, and any video speakers?
No.
Okay, so, and I've got a question. So when the item's been called and there's no video, can they chime in any time during the item, or are we closed now for comments? Have we looked into that?
I think what you had mentioned at the beginning, I think what we're trying to do is we'll take all of the in-house ones first, and then we'll check to see if any hands are raised. If there's not, then we'll.
Okay, so somebody could raise their hand with the 4th speaker, and then they would still be in the queue.
Correct.
Just like they could if one speaker speaks and then.
Right. They get the last word. Yeah. Okay, all right. Everybody clear on that kind of? Okay, well, let's call our first few speakers.
Okay. Councilmember Wu did pull this item, so did you
Oh.
want a staff report
I don't have a
first, or-
comment. I
Okay, you
wanna
just knew
hear
that you
the
had, okay,
public.
excellent.
Before we do speakers, is there anything, I think I know what a lot of the issue is. Do you want to say anything just really quickly on this item and the focus of this item?
Yes, and just so the council knows, just knowing that by the way, I need to take full responsibility for the fact that I didn't notice that this is placed on consent. This probably should have been a regular agenda item. It's completely my fault. It was on consent. I didn't watch close enough. So that's completely on me. But we do have, if the council needs to see a picture or something, we have a couple of pictures that might might illustrate what we're trying to accomplish here. But the bottom line is the biggest issue that seems to have come in through emails and phone calls and some of the things I've concerned is whether or not we're planning to remove the coral tree. You'll notice in your staff report, there was never a suggestion or part of this project at this point to remove the coral tree. That's not what's before you tonight. It is simply the widening of the sidewalk, removal of the shrubs that I believe are overgrown and probably not healthy, and retaining the slope, and then putting a mural on that slope and just trying to make that area more presentable, just a nicer part of our.
So for clarification, the city tree of San Clemente, the coral tree, is remaining at this location?
Correct.
Okay, so we call the first few speakers?
Larry Culbertson, followed by Amanda Quintanilla, followed by Kathy Ward.
Larry Culbertson, resident. I believe that this project is of a level of complexity and importance that it needs the input not of just the Design Review Subcommittee, but the full Planning Commission. The Planning Commission has expertise and experience in design, construction, engineering, landscaping, traffic, pedestrian flow, noise, and other issues that are involved in this project. Furthermore, the project needs and deserves input from the Pier Bowl residents, merchants, and the entire community. When the project went to Design Review Subcommittee in July of 2023, there was significant interest and concern from a number of community members who filled the meeting room. The minutes of that meeting include a number of comments from the public and the commissioners that would have been beneficial for you to see as part of your report tonight. Here is the last paragraph of those minutes. The subcommittee inquired about the next steps of the process. Staff noted that they would meet with Peer Pride to integrate feedback and return to DRSC to further feedback. They indicated that staff would not initiate engineering level drawings until the conceptual plan is further developed. Instead of obtaining further feedback from DRSC, staff has forged ahead with this full steam, and here it is on the consent agenda, consent calendar. Please slow down and think through what you're about to do. This project will give the Pier Bowl a significantly different appearance than what it has had for the past 50 years. It is imperative that the public be made aware of the proposed changes and that any issues that could be a problem are thoroughly considered. Public input with agreement and acceptance of the project might not be completely possible, but we need to give everyone a chance to be heard. One specific concern of mine is the loss of shade. On hot days, people waiting for the trolley seek out the few shady spots under the foliage. All of the renderings that I have seen show a vast, barren, hardscaped area. The staff report states that the existing large coral tree may remain if City Council desires. The excavation of the retaining wall and the new sidewalk would surely compromise the root system of that tree and probably kill it. Another area of concern is the effect of this project on the historic integrity of the pier bowl. It may be negligible or non-existent, but the project needs to be vetted by our historic preservation consultant. So please direct staff to have our Planning Commission consider this project before we proceed. Thank you.
Thank you, Larry.
Amanda Quintanilla, followed by Kathy Ward, followed by Ellen Kawis. Amanda? Oh, there she is.
Sorry, I was just moving to the side. I had problems this morning in submitting a presentation. This was something different. Next slide, please. I'm so glad. This is the wonderful picture of our pier, and this is what people mostly take pictures of, and it's gorgeous. It's magnificent. But I agree with Mr. Culbertson, and the agenda, page 2, paragraph 3, does state the existing large coral tree at the site may remain if that is the city council's desire. Next slide, please. So, next slide. So basically, when this project went to the Beaches, Parks and Recreation Commission on June the 23rd as a special meeting, on the agenda, it did not include that the amount of how much it's going to cost, and it was $450,000. And people were wondering where that came from, and it was in the CIP, capital improvement projects under the budget. And it's my understanding that that's not a very transparent thing to do, with presenting an agenda, presenting a project to the Beaches, Parks and Recreation without the actual cost or concerns regarding how much this is going to be. Here on the left side, these are the bushes that are there, and they're thriving, they're beautiful. They do provide shade, they do provide a place for birds to nest, and we are a bird sanctuary, so I think we need to keep that in mind. Next slide, please. Next slide. Killing trees in the Tree City, USA. Go back one, please, and I'm just going to stay there for a minute. One of the people that wrote in addition to signing the petition, which I put out on social media, and 82 people signed so far, but there were people from the San Clemente Garden Club, the San Clemente Historical Society, business owners, people who've come from Ladera, basically coming to enjoy our pier. And one of the things they love is that there is shade there that's beautiful. It takes away from just, it puts greenery there. And one of the people that wrote in, it says, Ole Hansen introduced and established the coral tree in San Clemente when he had a specific coral tree brought over from Africa for his personal estate, now Casa Romantica Cultural Center and Gardens. His enthusiasm for the trees, bright orange-red blooms, led to a botanical legacy. Planting coral trees throughout the city, they became a signature part of the local scenery and a design symbol of the lush, vibrant coastal landscapes of the Spanish Village by the sea. The coral tree is our city tree, and this is the participate. This connects Ole
Amanda.
Hansen to our pier.
Wait, you want to reset the clock for Ms. Ward?
It's a different timer. I've got it.
Oh, you got, okay, thank you.
City Council, my comment tonight is directed by this being on the consent calendar, because the very definition of a consent calendar is that it is enacted with one motion with no comments, none at all. This project is in the Pier Bowl specific plan. That's a specific plan. That means it should go to the Planning Commission. That's who should hear it. The architectural overlay of the pier is significant, it's a historic structure, but it's also in an architectural overlay, and I'm not sure how these stairs would do that. It is our public park. The shade is very important if you have never been down there. If you have a dog and you are down there, you need to find shade. It's none. I saw some people waiting for the trolley this weekend, and they were bright red. They looked like they were going to pass out, and they were sitting there. This does nothing to address that. There's no shade. So I think the Planning Commission could do a better job looking at this and find a better, I'm not saying this isn't a bad project. There's several people from Pure Pride here. This is, let's be clear, it's not just a maintenance project. It's a Pure Pride requested project. That's why they're here. But it should go to the Planning Commission. You can't just say that we're going to do that, you talk about it behind the scenes and have that done. This is a Pier Bowl specific plan. So my comment is not for that, it's the process. We could get a better process, maybe we could get some more shade in along with this process that staff, or project that staff wants to do. But let's get that. The city council can't do that. You have to entertain all these other things that are going on. Please, put this at the Planning Commission, let them hold a public hearing, and then we get a better project. That's the goal. That's the goal of what we're trying to do. So I ask you to do that. This isn't the way to do it. It's hiding the ball and what's going on. And also the coral tree, you've got to say, and the Planning Commission would say that, it has to be protected and saved. You can't do anything that's going to destroy that. But you're not addressing the shade part, and that's a big deal. And I'm not sure this project is the best thing for that area. So please consider that. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy.
Eileen Kawas, followed by Wayne Eggleston.
Hello. Excuse me. I'm Eileen Kawas, and I'm representing the Pier Conservancy. Earlier this week, we sent a letter to you, and I think that states our position very well. And if I could just take a moment and remind you of what's in that letter. The Pier Conservancy is very pleased to see the possibility that the City Council will award the construction contract for the Avenida Victoria project tonight. We support the staff's recommendation of orange-blue general contractors. In the staff report, there's an option to have the project directed to Design Review Committee for potential input on landscaping. Should council decide a review is necessary, we urge that it not delay the award of the contract. Staff has planned this project to occur after the summer busy season and before the winter rain season. It's a very small window we have to work with. As you deliberate, it would be very helpful for you to please consider the following aspects of the project. A drought-tolerant coastal palette of plant materials is planned for the area in question. This is consistent with the city's coastal landscape master plan. Restoring the historic Pier Bowl coastal sightlines is an agreed-upon objective. The coral tree is mentioned in the report. The coral tree is outside the scope of this project. Due to the safety concerns of identified arborists, its canopy has already been trimmed to improve the safety of the sidewalk and the stairwell. Given all of this, it's important for us to hear you identify what specifically is expected if this is to go back to the Design Review Committee. We thank you for your good work. We hope you will take this into consideration. Thank you.
Thank you, Eileen.
Wayne Eggleston.
Good evening and welcome back from your vacations. It's been a long 6 weeks, hasn't it?
Short, very short 6 weeks.
You know, I'm down at the pier every day because of Parks Number 5. And I see the people standing out there waiting for the trolley, and they're broiling in the sun. We need shade trees out there that protect them when they're waiting for the trolley. We need shade trees. It is so important to see shade trees out there. When I was elected to city council 100 years ago, I had a meeting with a city
Ole
manager.
Hansen?
Ole Hansen, thank you, with Mike Parness. And Mike said, what's the most important thing about being a city councilman? And I said, I could think of 100 things. He says, there's one important thing, and it's called process. If you don't have good process, you don't have good results. And this is a typical example here of not really good process. Another thing that is a good process is not for the city council to design on the dais. And I can speak about that forever and ever, to say the least. But we do need we do need trees out there. I'm also concerned about the artwork on either side. People paid good money for that tile work, and the artwork was designed by Mary McMiniman, who most of us know here, who is an artist here in town. So I think it's really important for this project to have good process and put it on a fast track and send it. It's already been to design review. To send it to the Planning Commission. They are the people out there that can help you with design. They're certainly a lot more familiar with design than what you folks are. And so please rely upon them for their design guidance, because that's what we have the Planning Commission for. So thank you so much, appreciate it, and welcome back.
Thank you, Wayne. You're a treasure.
Thank you.
Do we have any other cards?
Lori Donchek?
Lori?
Good evening, City Council. My name's Lori Donchak. I represent the San Clemente Pier Conservancy. And I agree with my former colleagues about the importance of process. And so for those of you who may or may not have been here, this project initiated in 2023, and it was based on research done among close to 1,000 residents where they were initiating improvements for the pier. This project was identified by the community. In 2024, and Mayor Cabral was mayor at the time, we had a community workshop, and that was on the heels of the Design Review Subcommittee meeting that Mr. Culbertson talked about. And based on that community input, and the report is somewhere in the files, I've seen it, we tightened the scope of the project. It has very specific focus. It's intended to create a sense of invitation, which, to Ms. Ward's point, is in the Pier Bowl specific plan, that this is an important feature of Avenida Victoria. So we're reinvigorating the sense of invitation. We are creating sight lines that Mr. Hansen had in mind 100 years ago, and we're trying to get our pier in great shape for her 100th birthday. So that's the background. There have been meetings. Tonight was, surprisingly, we thought it was just a step in terms of contract award because the project had been scoped, it had gone through a lot of process, and it's 3 years later, and the birthday is 2028. So those are my comments, but I do want to say that the Conservancy, we are in service to the community. We don't invent projects. We go out and listen to the community, and if you look at our track record, we've had a great 10-year run so far. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lori. Is that the last speaker?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so since Zen, you pulled it, do you want to have some conversation?
Sure. I make some comment. It's an item that I did not expect to generate so much debate. It's been around for a few years, and seeing 3 former mayors and 2 the most important organizations in town pitting against each other on this item, I feel that I'd like to see more consensus on the things we do, and also the BPNR asked for this item to be sent to Design Review Subcommittee recently. They don't have authority to do so, but the council can refer it to Design Review. So that's my inclination. I think the idea of opening up the view from that place towards the end of the pier is a good thing. But maybe there are multiple ways to achieve it. For example, one of the planning commissioner previously suggested that perhaps some pruning can achieve that goal. Maybe we can remove the fisherman's sign to achieve that goal. I don't know. As Wayne said, I don't want to design on the dais, but I think we have the expert on planning commission design review, and given the contention we see here, my inclination is that if we're not urgent, then just let them to take a look at it.
Any other comments? Well, then I'll jump. Do we have the photo, Andy, of the proposed? While we're going through that, I don't think that is this contentious. The items that are concerning coral tree, well, I think we've addressed that, and we'll protect the coral tree. The shade issue, we know we have to plant some trees there with the proposed project. Is that correct, Mr. City Manager?
So there's a couple of photos that we have put together just to, man, and
That's a great
this thing's
one
jumping
there.
around a little bit here. So you can see the existing condition on the left, you can see the proposed condition on the right. The idea is, and what looks like trees here are actually overgrown shrubs. There's only 2 of them. They have just grown up to where they have gotten large. And you can see from the west side, where the ocean side, they're pretty much dying, and that's a concern over time. And then if you have spent time down there in this particular location when it's busy, what's happening right now are people are being forced to walk out on the street. The sidewalk is very narrow there, so the idea is to have a wider sidewalk in that area. And then, again, you can see some of the new planting. Yes, that there's planting along the wall there. We talked about perhaps putting a mural on the wall. There's been talk about shade tonight. I agree. I don't disagree. But if we want trees, can we plant trees there rather than having overgrown shrubs that haven't been properly cared for?
Like a
If we
Tory
want to have
pine or
trees,
something
yeah,
that
if we want to
grows
have
next to it?
trees, let's plant
Okay.
trees.
So
Let's
that-
not have overgrown
That was my
shrubs.
question. So the shade can be addressed.
Sure.
Okay, and then I'll go on to the mural. We keep on talking about this mural, but the conversations I've had with Pure Pride is, we're talking about.
Conservancy.
I apologize, I helped unfold the banner, I know. Pure Conservancy, is that we talked about a tile mural. People thinking about a mural, they think about something painted on the side of a building. They talked about bringing in an historical style tile mural to keep with the character. Again, I think it's a good design. I think it's going to enhance the pier. If you look at pictures of the pier from, I don't know, 80 years ago, it's wide open in there. They have a full view of the pier, which we're going to hopefully restore, including moving the sign, the fisherman's sign. They're all these implements that people are talking about, they're in this project. So my comment, oh, you have a comment,
After
Victor?
you're done, yeah.
Yeah, I'm done.
Yeah, I would just add to your comment and join in it. We went and observed the traffic flow the other day on a busy day, and the trolleys get off there, and the people wait for the trolleys there, and there's not enough room for them. So something needs to be done to that, because it is a danger. This is, in terms of process, there has been a process. It's been the Pier Conservancy that has been working on this for years. There's been, as was mentioned, thousands of comments and input on this. It's not something that, unfortunately, got put on the consent calendar, but it is something that's been thoroughly vetted, thoroughly reviewed by the community, and I think, we could study, and that's part of the problem with government. Sometimes we study things too much, and if we can get it done by the 100th anniversary, I think we should.
Unless there are additional comments, I'm ready to move
And
recommendations.
something he wants to say.
Yeah, I'll make one more comment. 100 years anniversary is 2028, so there are plenty of time. And for that, for this shrub or tree, it's a Melaleuca. It's a Melaleuca nasophylla. It's a specimen tree. This tree probably has at least 30 years age, maybe 50, somewhere there. And so So beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. Some people think it's messy and ugly, and some people see this as a mature trees with full of life there. Now, some of the canopy is dying, but it's a multi-trunk, multi-stem tree or bush, and then we can remove that portion of it. So I'm not a botanist, but I think it's worthwhile for someone to take a look at it. Maybe this tree has some value to preserve.
Okay, thank you, Zen.
I'll move staff recommendations 1 through 4.
Okay, motion by Mayor Pro Tem, you have a comment?
Yeah, I see what your point is on the process, and I think this could have gone better. And I agree, it shouldn't have been on consensus. But we are here now. We need to move forward on this. We need to get going on it. I would say that we need to plan for shade in some way or another. I don't like designing from the dais. I agree we should not be doing that. But I also know that there is a bit of an urgency on this as a safety matter. So whatever can be done in keeping we're going to keep that tree. B, if there's other aspects, either vegetative or even structural, to find shade for the people there, that'd be great. But going in the future, we need to be better at doing this procedurally.
Second.
So I had
One thing I'll say is if shade is the concern, those shrubs are hardly providing shade. I think there's much better ways to provide
Well,
shade.
your
than
photo
those.
shows the shade there on the left. So we had a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Noblock, second by Councilmember Cabral. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
I'm going to say no.
Okay, we have 4 voting aye with Councilmember Wu dissenting.
Agenda is oral communications, part 2, and we do have 2 speakers.
Call the first speaker.
Amanda Quintanilla, followed by Anna Magavero.
Anna basically did leave. I'm really disappointed in this because when there was an error in the process of putting things as a consent calendar versus on new business, and I'm kind of concerned regarding how this was pushed through. It really was.
Are you speaking about the consent item we just passed?
You've done this before. Where I speak on oral communications and you interrupt me.
Well, you're speaking on an
allowed to
item that we've already passed, an agenda item, so you can't speak twice on it. If you want to speak on something.
I'm speaking, if I could just continue my sentence, because you interrupted me in my mid-sentence.
You're correct, because you're out of order. If you want to speak on something beside a consent item, then continue. If you don't, then we're going to move on.
Please don't suppress my free speech which is protected under the First Amendment. What I'm trying to say that there are certain agendas, certain things certain items, certain issues that are pushed through, like the gateway overlay. You change the zoning amendment to put that through. So that's what my concerns are, how things are put on the agendas and that they're pushed through. That's not right. So I'm giving you an example. This is another example, how this was put in. It wasn't only me that thought that there was a problem how the process was done. So this has happened before with the gateway overlay where people were from, oh my gosh, right by the outlets, they were disenfranchised because they were not properly informed of things that were going to be presented through changes of the general plan amendment through the gateway overlay. So this happens all over. So where special interests get pushed through certain items. So that's where I'm concerned about. It is disingenuous listening to people when a certain agenda comes through. People push items through because they want to push it through for their own purposes. There was no there was no really public vetting regarding what happened before for the gateway overlay, and there was concerns regarding those people for the gateway overlay. I'm sorry, I'm just kind of confused now. But Beverly Wyson was concerned because there was no proper notification. And that was one of the things that she had addressed. So I'm talking about a pattern of behavior that happens where their public engagement does not happen. And if you listen to the Planning Commission 2 months ago or so, they had mentioned to me that public engagement is key. One of the consultants gave a presentation on the gateway overlay, and they discussed how there was no public engagement in the process. That's the planning commissioner saying that there should be public engagement. Just like in this situation, there should be public engagement, and there wasn't. So it's disenfranchising people.
You can take another 10 seconds if you want.
No, I just wanted to say, and that's why, I mean, when you interrupt me, I know the process, but I'm trying to come back to it in a way that is within my rights.
All
So
right, thank you
please
for
don't
sharing your
interrupt me.
thoughts.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I would just, on that item, I'd just say, I recall you meeting hours, and me too, with the public on that issue. There was significant public engagement. It's just that the public doesn't always get to see all the meetings that we do outside of the chamber. But there was probably literally hours and hours, I mean, probably weeks, and I know we worked on it for months, so there was significant public engagement.
I appreciate your transparency.
Thank you.
Anna Mogavero?
She left.
Okay.
If that was the person that Mr. Washington was talking about, and if she lives in Talega, if she happens to be listening, we do not serve the water in Talega, so she may need to contact the Santa Margarita Water District. I just offer that if she's listening, because that's not our water systems.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Future agenda items, is that Laura? Does anybody have a?
Yeah.
Mr. Cabral?
I have a couple. One, I want to agendize the review and update of the city pension investment policy, which governs our investment portfolio for a legacy pension plan, the CSCERP. It's a pension plan that no longer exists, but we have a body that is appointed to it, so we're going to update that. But we have to bring it and get the city council's approval to do that. And if I could get a second and a third, we'll.
All third, okay.
We'll get a report.
Councilman Ehrmeyer was the third, Mayor Pro Tem Novak was the second.
The second item on the 4th of July, this could be any one of us, if someone else wants to move it. I don't think there's an urgency to it. We don't have to do it immediately, but I know that it's gotten out of hand, and I've seen it, I've witnessed it, I've experienced it. We as a city council attempted to mitigate some of that. The strange part about it is that you see a lot of the people in the community that came up and speak are the people that started the project, and they compartmentalize the issue as well, we just want the good parts, but not the bad parts. And then you also have the influence of social media that could actually take this to levels that are unexpected. So I would like to agendize us looking, not immediately, but sometime over the next several months, because we do have time before July 4th to reevaluate what we've done in the past, address the issue of how we address social media, and maybe have some meetings with the community to figure out what the best approach. Maybe we have to close, that entire community, those blocks. You'd probably know more than us about how you control it, but if we could have something come back in 2 months, 3 months to see what.
I can second that.
I third it.
And a third by Councilman.
That was
Bull.
actually going to be my future agenda item as well. So there you go.
And what happened, the last couple of years, the chair races went underground. So they had it like at 6 in the morning at some unknown location it was done. Now it's right back to what it was before with, water balloons filled with ice or frozen, it's, we've got to look at it.
And I've actually seen, I think we've talked about, there is surveillance measures where you can actually observe who's throwing those water balloons from what property.
May I make a suggestion, just because this is, but because this is a future agenda item, we're getting into a lot of the discussion on it.
We've agendized it.
Yeah. But yeah, I would just ask on that future agenda item that staff come back with a menu of options of how to address this.
Well, the one I want to mention, I think it has to be included, is the surveillance and the ticketing of.
Okay, so you can work in concert with the OCSD on what their capabilities
absolutely.
are. Okay.
And maybe even we start with our law enforcement committee at public safety to start and to give us some ideas.
Range of options,
Yeah.
Security plus city and what we can, plus the community,
Second and third first.
Second and
Maybe we
third.
can have the public safety to look at it first.
Right, exactly.
Yes, that's part of, that was in there.
Good point.
All right.
Anybody else with an agenda item? I've got one if nobody else does. As I like to agendize, taking a look at, it's been talked about several times, the sand or the lack of sand that we're getting out of this OCTA. And I'm not blaming the OCTA. I'm just saying, we thought we were going to get some sand. We're getting none. They put some rocks, no sand. The Coastal Commission approved their permit to coincide with sand. So, I'd like to agendize, let's look at what our options are. Who do we appeal to? And it's come up before about why not we know how to put sand on the beach. Why not give us some money and let us put sand on the beach?
I wrote a letter to that effect today, but so I'd second it. I think we do need to look at where we're going with this. And
We have a second and a third, and Mr. Wu, you want to make a comment?
Well, you already have a third, so I have no.
Oh, you were going to support this?
No,
you don't. Okay.
I think it would be better addressed at the staff level, not in the open.
The reason I bring this up is we've been working on this at the staff level now for a year and a half. And I'm not saying we take
And
any
we have
action.
legislator we can reach out to.
That's worked out really well. We were promised almost 2 years ago that we were going to get all the sand we needed before the initiative came out by one of our elected officials. We will give you all the sand. Don't vote for your initiative. You know how much sand we've gotten? I'm holding up a jar of the sand that
We didn't
they've
get that
come up
much.
with. Yeah, so I think it's appropriate. We've gotten a second and a third. So any other future agenda items? Hearing none.
Timing on that last item, when we hear back, is there a?
Oh, it's not a rush, I don't think. I think we need to look at this right, and I think we need to look at our city attorney, what our legal options are. So,
Time certain of some kind of.
Well, after election would be the perfect time, because by that time, we know whether we have the funding or not.
I don't think we have to
That
wait.
plays a big part.
well, but the election, they promised us 300,000 cubic yards of sand. It has nothing to do with.
From 540,000.
Oh, even better, 540,000.
Well, 240 in front of Mariposa and 300 in front of St. Clemente.
I think we can buy.
State Beach.
Whether the initiative passed it or not, I think this is a separate issue. So, again, I'm not blaming the OCTA. I'm just saying we need to we owe it to our residents to look at the
What steps
proposal.
can we take to make sure that this is happening?
Exactly. And that's,
So I just want to make sure I think it's vitally important, and the quicker we act on it, the better all around, so.
October?
That's why I asked for a time.
a couple of
timeframe.
months, do you think we could?
I think it's probably more urgent than that. What we can do is at least take the next couple of weeks and find out, we made some contact with the Coastal Commission.
Okay.
Find out kind of where they're at, what their timeline is, and report back to the city council. And like was mentioned, it may not be for action of the council, but I think the community and the council deserves an update of where OCTA is, where the Coastal Commission is, and we have to have that.
And we might get some information next Monday.
That's right.
They're having their
Can we
thing.
invite OCTA, some
Sure, absolutely. I think
people to
that's a
come
great
over, give us an update?
That's a great idea.
So again, report back timing is,
I hope if
If
not,
he- he'll-
if not the next meeting, then
Meeting
perhaps
after
the
the-
first meeting in September, but I think it's urgent. We need to
Okay.
get right on it.
Perfect. Madam City Clerk,
Okay.
where are we at now?
Reports, City Attorney,
Nothing to report, except it's a pleasure to serve the city of San Clemente. Thank you.
City Manager.
There are a few contracts tonight. California Consulting for grant consulting services in the amount not to exceed $60,000 in the calendar year. Rohan and Sons providing for Casa Romantica HVAC replacement in the amount of $15,837. Foster and Foster providing for Government Accounting Standards Board consulting services in the amount of $8,680. The Pool Service Specialist for providing professional pool maintenance in the amount of $62,500. Duncan Engineering providing the railroad retaining wall repair in the amount of $23,950.
Okay.
Question, if I could, regarding, Mr. City Manager, on that, the 50,000 for the grant. Is any of those grant proposals dealing with sand, by the way?
No, I don't think any of our
Other
current grants are
issues.
for sand.
Other issues.
That's correct.
Okay,
That is
thank you.
correct.
Okay,
It does not include the Crespi grant, so.
Just curious.
are we at adjournment? Okay, so I'd like to take the opportunity to adjourn in the memory of Warren Vadreen. I knew Warren a little bit, and I will tell you that he never had a bad word to say about anybody. Even when you disagreed completely about a topic, he was always just a stand-up guy and a gentleman. So, but before we adjourn this evening, I would like to take a moment on behalf of the San Clemente City Council to honor the memory of Warren, who recently passed away. Warren was a man of strength, wisdom, faith, and a spirit of adventure. He lived with kindness, integrity, and humility, touching the lives of family, friends, and all that had the privilege of knowing him. His example reminds us that a life is measured not only by accomplishments, but by the love we share, the compassion we extend, and the positive difference we make on the lives of others. Our hearts are especially with Donna Vadreen, whose service to our community reflects the same commitment to caring for others that she and Warren shared throughout their lives together. On behalf of myself, the City Council, and the City of San Clemente, we extend our deepest sympathy to Donna, their family, and all who loved Warren. May this memory continue to be a blessing, and may his legacy of faith, wisdom, love, and service live in our community. In Warren's honor, we ask you to join us in a brief moment of silence before we adjourn. Thank you. Do we have a motion?
If we adjourn to the next meeting on August the 18th, a closed session beginning at 4:30 PM, regular business meeting starting at 5:30 PM. Meeting will take place here in the council chambers located at 910 Kelly Negocio, second floor, San Clemente.
Motion by Mayor Pro Tem Noblock.
Second.
Second by Councilman Enmeyer. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Close to seven.
Well, I didn't we have as many public comments as we did. I think 8 o'clock was.
Well, I said 200% increase. We only have one.
Yeah,